Well, good evening, everybody. Let's make sure everything's working like it should. Everyone should be seeing me here real soon. Get things turned off that should be turned off, or on that should be turned on. Check to make sure everything is working as it is supposed to. Those of you know who do stream know from time to time, things don't always go the way we plan. But right now, I think everything's good. Yep, getting a thumbs up from down there in Australia for sure. They say they can hear me down there, so that's a good thing. Well, hey, everybody, welcome to Bourbon Neophyte Lounge. Just got off work not too long ago and decided we're going to sit and chat a little bit and pour a dram or two. And it's our pre-Veterans Day Eve. So tomorrow's Veterans Day here in the States, and we honor our veterans on November 11th. And then, of course, you know, we have Memorial Day in May, and we honor our veterans that have departed. Hey, Bourbon Baller. How are you? Oh, Whiskey Lover Society. Hey, how's everything in Belgium? Caught that video you did on Ben Rick, that, what was it? 155 ABV, something like that. That's right up my alley when you get up with an alcohol content like that on there, that's for sure. Sounded delicious to me, but I know that you guys on the other part of the world there, you're still a little early for you as far as between Belgium and Australia. Oh, sorry, Canada. It's late up there. But I'm going to start off tonight with a little rye, and then in about 26 minutes, we'll do a little drink to our veterans. Hey, Chris, how are you? I have just a little wee pour of this. You guys probably have seen me hold this up before. It's a rye. As you all know, I do like my rye. And before really Prohibition, when you went to the bar and ordered a whiskey, guess what they gave you? Rye. So I figure I'm going to start off with just a little drop, kind of get things going here, and work my way up. If you see behind me, I've got a few bottles there lined up. I don't know if I will drink out of each and every one of them. There's who knows, but I lined up some ryes there. And if you see behind me, there's, well, let me move over. There you go. You can see two of them. Those are two flags from my grandfathers, both veterans, one from the Army and one United States Marine Corps. And when they were interned, I got the flag that was on their coffin. So I have those displayed up behind me. And I actually was looking for a few old photographs. But as you know, we're unpacking around here. And so I don't quite know where they are in all of the boxes and stuff that are around here. So, you know, that's just how it goes. But I wanted to show a particular one of my aunt who was in the Marine Corps during World War II, stationed in San Diego, if I remember correctly. But she posed with a picture with Bob Hope. So I have that, and I'm just going to show that and a couple of other little things. And, oh, JD Bourbon Approach. How are you? How's things on that end of the world? I tell you what, this thing always smells good. This Triple R rye. Yes, I got it at Total Wine, but it's one of those little hitters that you get for $40 or less. It's well worth it. It's always delicious. But it's nice to get things started. Nice to be home after work, sit back, have a little pour with you all. Like I said, I think most of you guys that are on here, with the exception of Bourbon Baller, who just popped in, you're either working, getting off work, because it's still early in the other side of the world where it's pretty much, yeah, here in Vegas, really at this time, things are just picking up, but yeah, not me. I'm on that wind down right now to where, I'm just sitting back, relaxing, having a pour. JD Bourbon Approach, he's just watching tank fires. Well, hey, that happens, especially out there. Let's see. Speaking of that, yeah, Chris, Ken was having some technical difficulties on his stream there towards the end. This morning I was watching it, and I don't know, just went south. I mean, he started getting a little garbled, then it seemed to straighten up, and I don't know, maybe the aluminum foil on his rabbit ears for his internet just probably fell off. Who knows? But I know he's lurking because, as you guys know, he popped in there. So he is quite aware that we are here. But good to see you all here. But I don't know if any of you are subscribers to the Whiskey Lovers Society. I'm sure most of you on here are, because I see who's here. He put out a video on Benrick, the Scotch, some high ABV, and I actually had seen a bottle of that brand here. I don't think it was the same one that he had on there. However, it had an extremely high ABV for Scotch, which was like, wow, I didn't think it. Scotch pretty much basically stayed at 80 proof plus a little bit, give or take 90 here and there. It's just not something to me that would ever be at 100 proof, 110 proof, so on and so forth. Well, I was wrong when I saw that bottle at the bottle shop, aka the liquor store here, and I was like, man, I go, that might be good. Well, I subscribe to the Whiskey Lovers Society channel, and boom, he happened to do a video on that particular brand, and I'm like, oh, reminded me that, hey, that's out there. So I might have to go and revisit that thing, because the way he made it sound, it was just like a delight with the fruits. He said there was some caramel in there. Yeah, and then he added a little water, and it really opened it up a little bit, which is not something I generally do, is add water to my whiskey. I'm not saying I don't do it, but in general, as you all know, it's always neat. Always neat. I like to drink. I like to drink my whiskey neat. So I really get the flavor. However, I do know that adding a few drops of water to it can really help change it, particularly if you feel it's too hot or maybe the flavors just aren't there. It really does open it up and make it different. I am a believer in that. And I actually have a couple of bottles that I'm going to revisit. And definitely going to have my little dropper bottle with the water in there, so I can cross my fingers and hopefully that gets better. And you guys have heard me talk about the Bardstown Bourbon, which I love, their Fusion Series and Discovery Series, with the exception of one bottle. That bottle being the Discovery 5, which just plain, to me, sucked. But I drank it down to the shoulder a few months back, pretty much choke it down. And I haven't touched it. Have not touched it other than to move the bottle from one side of the shelf to the other. Well, I think I'm going to give that one more chance, some water, let it open up a little bit and see. Just don't like that minerality that's in it that they get from that 17-year-old George Dickel juice that they put in there. But anyway, let me see what's cooking here in the chat because I've been stammering away for a couple of minutes. And Chris Taz is talking about some Old Carter batch 8. Oh, he's been offered one. Well, if you listen to a lot of people, Chris, and I know you do, they're fans of the Old Carter. I haven't had any, so I can't tell you, but the majority of those expressions, you can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong. So it's worth it. The FAE 01 by Makers and the Elijah Craig Rye. Yeah, I think I brought that out. Yes, I did. I've got that up there. I got some Elijah Craig Rye, and I have the FAE 01 on the shelf. I just don't have it up. I have Ryes here. Yes, I know you probably see a Smoke Wagon uncut, unfiltered right there. Yes, it is not a rye. However, in their mash bill, 36% of the juice that goes in there is rye. Pretty much, I do believe, and don't quote me, but I definitely lay $1 down on it. All their expressions have 36% rye in it. So that's one of the things that just take me right to that bottle of Smoke Wagon because it is just plain good. What do we got here? Oh, we got about 16 more minutes before we do a little drink to our veterans on the official Veterans Day. Be almost midnight here. And then we'll have a little drink to them. And not only the veterans here in the U.S., but abroad, Canada, Australia, Belgium, all over the world. There's veterans. So, it's a special kind of person that decides to sign on that dotted line and put on that uniform and do what they do for a period of time and do their duty to their country. They're amazing people. So I'm going to have another little sip here and enjoy this drop with you all. I may, because Scotch Down Under is here and Whiskey Lovers Society, before I really jump up in some proof and ABV, I may go grab my Glenfiddich bottle and pour a little drop of Scotch just because you guys are here. But I'm going to drink this rye first because it's going to be hard dropping down. I got a sample of Armagnac, and I should have brought that out, but just didn't think about it till now when I started talking about the Scotch. And man, that Armagnac was good. The only person that's missing on here that can really give us some information on Armagnac is Greg's Whiskey Guide, but he's probably working. Oh, you're having Remembrance Day too, Ken? Okay. All right. Well, tonight your time is my morning. So maybe when I'm ending, you're going to pick up. Is that how this goes? Hey, Whiskey Lover Society, Bourbon Neophyte, name of the channel. We all got to start somewhere. However, I started on Scotch 30 years ago. and just kind of moved, let's just say, to the right, and started getting into ryes and bourbons, American whiskey, and it just had more flavor and punch. But when you were describing that Scotch today, I'm like, man, that sounds like one I'd really be interested in. That's for sure. That is for sure. Whiskey Lover Society, if you have time, and just like everybody else knows, the link is posted. If you want to pop on a little bit and chat and talk about that video you made, one, I'd be interested in. Two, we can chat a little bit about bourbon. But feel free if you have the time or feel like it. Let's see, JD Bourbon Approach. Today is, Poland Independence Day. Okay. Hey, I'm glad to see that everybody celebrates their veterans. Well, they do. I don't know what country does not. Getting ready for work. Well, that's what I figured. You guys are on the other side of the world. I haven't caught up with you yet, but I'm working on it. I've got what we got? 12 minutes, 14 minutes until midnight here, so. So I guess, Ken, you got everything all straightened out and should be ready to stream. Oh, 60 hertz. What's going on, man? Nice to see you pop on. Hey, don't forget, everybody, while you're here, make sure you hit that like button. Can't forget that. It's always an important thing to do. Gives a little support to the channel, me, and makes it known to others. So while we got some time to kill, I think I've mentioned it, but as you get older, you forget, like when you walk into a room to pick something up and you walk in there and you see a bright light and then you walk back out and you don't know why you went in the room. Anyway, so I may have said something, who knows? But last weekend, I went to a bottle shop, shocking, picked up a bottle of bourbon particularly, but one called Uncle Nearest. All right. You can see there's a little, let me see if I can get it on there. It's a little tough with, like, there it is. There's a little signature on that. Victoria Butler. She is the master blender for Uncle Nearest. And she happened to be in, and I picked up a bottle of this. I've been looking at it for some time. My wife kept showing me the bottle because she just liked the look of the bottle. And so I started looking into the brand itself and the distillery. And I'm like, So when I found out she was going to be there, I went to the shop and I got to talk to her. So Uncle Nearest, the name of the bourbon, the guy's name is Nearest Green, was a slave back in the day. All right. And then he is credited in probably the one that brought the Lincoln County process to Tennessee. He worked with, collaborated with, counseled, however you want to put it, Jack Daniels. And so, back in those days, You just didn't do that with someone like him. It just was unheard of. However, talking to the master distiller, who is a great great granddaughter of Nearest, said, no, it is true. And they have documentation that he pretty much brought it there. He can't say him 100%, but he's the one that was very instrumental in bringing that process to not only the States, but to Tennessee, which give them that, what they call the Lincoln County process. So it just has to do with the way they filter the bourbon. And if you're interested in it, you can go to the website and, you can look it up and see what's what. But it was just very, very interesting to talk to an actual descendant of that. But right now, their whiskey is still sourced. She won't disclose who or what, but of course, I'm sure Dickel's in there, but I do not know. I'm just, speaking. I have no proof that it is, but I think it's pretty darn good. So I had a taste while I was there of the 100 proof, which that bottle is, and it's really good. At first, it was a different taste because of the Lincoln County process, the way it is filtered, the way it's made. I'm like, wow, that's different. So I cleansed my palate and I took the next sip and the next sip and the next sip. And it's like, man, it's just good. Good viscosity. It has a good flavor. It is worth buying at least a bottle and trying. Now, I know you people probably aren't going to see it where you are, wrong end of the world, but you never know how things just turn up on your doorstep sometimes. I don't know how those people get over there, rowing that boat, making those deliveries, who knows? But if you come across it, yeah, it's not bad. Here in the States, the bottle's about $60, $65. They have another expression. It's the Uncle Nearest. It's 1884. The one I have is 1856. I think that's what it says. Yeah, 1856, which is the 100 proof. The 1884, I think, is 80. You have a 5-year delay? Yeah, probably. I got that. I mean, I know people say, where I'm in Vegas, but I still can't get any Discovery 6. And I just picked up an Elijah Craig C921. Just picked that up last week. It helps to know people in bottle shops. And guy I know there rang me up and he says, got something, but you better be here soon. So, of course, I went there because I'm like a few blocks away. Picked up my bottle and came home. Good to have people like that, even though I frequent that place at least once, twice a week, pop in there just even to say hi, what's up, keep those relationships up. Good to have, good to know. It's funny, I walked in there today. I had to pick up smoke wagon for a friend of mine so I can hand deliver that to him because they have a problem getting the uncut unfiltered. And they had a shipment of Redwood Empire in there, which, believe it or not, don't see that a lot here in Las Vegas. Just don't. As you can see, I have a Redwood Empire sitting up there, and it's the Emerald Giant. I know. Ken says, send it over. It just dropped there. That's a 60 hertz. That A 120. It's a good pour for the money. It's a good pour for the money. I've never seen it. It was before I really knew or got into the Elijah Craig. So anyway, yeah, they're good. Like I said, so I have the A, and I have B, and I have C for the Elijah Craig, and I'm going to do a blind on them. First of all, I want to crack that C921 and get a pour or two and then let it open up a little bit in the bottle, and then have my wife do a pour and see which one of them I like the best out of them all. Go from there, because that's the best way to figure out if you like something or not, particularly when you have them there. I like Elijah Craig. I like the flavor profile of it. So, it's pretty darn good to me. I like it. And hence I've got a repertoire of them. I've probably got about a half dozen bottles sitting on the shelf just of that expression. And the rye is sitting right there, which I'll probably have in this, because that'll be my progression: 90, 94, 100, move up on the scale. Lilith, are you lurking while you're working? Or are you at home? I know Ken's just lurking around and getting things going. He did get his little gremlins fixed. I was watching his stream and I was on there. I'm like, oh, I was like, hey, got to give this got to see how he's doing. So he's going to be doing a stream. So we want to make sure that we're there to support him, which means it looks like another 3 hours of sleep for me before I get back up and chat with Ken a little bit. So what am I going to pour? You know what I may do here in just a couple minutes, because it's almost midnight. I got a bottle that I haven't cracked, and I'm going to crack it. It was given to me by a veteran. Yep, it's the one. So, as a matter of fact, I'm going to use this bulbous glass here versus the Glen I was using. I like these when I do a new pour. I've been experimenting with these glasses. I didn't realize they were as big as they were in the bowl until I opened the box. I was like, damn, they're quite bulbous. But they really allow the liquid to open up to get rid of the ethanol, and it still funnels it. So when you're doing your nosing, you are able to, get some of the notes out of it. It's not that big that it's diluted. So I think that's pretty good. But this was given to me by Bobby, aka Bourbon Battalion. He hand delivered this to me, Magnolia, and this is a rye, and this is a true rye. It's 95% rye, and I haven't opened it, but I thought it's 11:59. Let's crack this thing, and being that it was given to me by a veteran, we will crack this thing and have a drink to our veterans here in the U.S. and across the world who took the time to serve their country. And, oh, man, that come right out of there. Well, that's good. That is good. And here we are at midnight here in Las Vegas. So let me do my little pour here. Sounds good. I like listening to that. Put the cap back on there. Yeah, what are we at here? 50% ABV. Oh, batch 1. Wow. Okay. That's not too bad. Batch 1. I didn't realize that until just now. I'm looking at the bottle. So, you know what, 6 years? That's funny. Um, I didn't see that, but I was thinking that when I saw what you typed. Fit a large ice ball in there. And okay, I don't put water or anything like that in my whiskey normally, and I don't use ice. However, it was highly recommended to use the ice balls, and particularly you said larger one. They don't melt as quick, so they won't dilute your whiskey so fast. And if you want a nice chill on it on a warm afternoon, that is the way to go. And you're right, it will fit. See? Yeah, this thing really allows you to let your whiskey open up. That bowl on it is something else. You know, color on that. I'm just looking at it now for the first time, not in the bottle. That's a nice color on that. MGP. You know what? I don't know if it's MGP. That is a. I actually want to say no. I don't think it is. I'll have to read up a little more on it, but it could be MGP. I like MGP, so wouldn't bother me if it was. That's for sure. God, I can't. I mean, there's writing on the back of this, but you know what? Yeah, we're not even going to try that. So it's 95 rye and 5 barley is the mash bill on this thing. That I did pick out of there. But yeah. Oh, you know what? MGP. Distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Now, let me just say, I don't know for sure, but it's Indiana. This is Ohio. So, and it's bottled in Guyana, Ohio. So, it's sourced. Let's put it that way. It is a sourced whiskey. But let me clear my palate. Raise your glasses, your coffee mugs, whatever it is that you have. And here's to our veterans here in the US, Canada, Australia, Belgium, Poland, all over the world who took the time out to serve their country. Cheers. Oh, wow. Wow. That was a very interesting sip. It was not horrible. I mean, it was good, but I just wasn't expecting that from a 95% rye on the mash bill. Wow. You would think Old Scout in your glass. All right. I've got a bottle on that, uncracked yet. You would think that being 95% rye, you would get a lot more spice out of it. I'm not disappointed. I'm surprised. Let this just kind of sit here a minute and clear off my palate again, and I'm gonna go at it. and get another sip here. Clear the old factory here, and let's see. Oh yeah, like a caramelized sugar. What is that? Almost bread. It's not off-putting, but man, that is not bad at all. Let me get another little sip here. Viscous. Yeah, viscous. Good legs. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, you can see them. Hopefully, they have some decent legs coming down there, and they're not, streaky as in very thin, but there is the sweetness of the rye, but it's not as sweet as the Triple R I had. Different mash bill, different thing. And by the way, the Triple R made by Redwood Empire. So anyway, yeah, I'm just like, wow, I expected it to be sweeter. It's not bad. No, I'm definitely going to have the rest of it, and we'll continue to sip on it. Definitely will need another drink or so out of it to get it down to the shoulder and let it open up in the bottle a bit. But would I tell you to put it on your bar? Sure. What's the price? Don't know. It was a gift, so it was sent to me. But I'd probably say $50 US for the Magnolia Rye. That would be my guess. Never even thought to look it up, even when they sent it to me. So Bullet and Redemption Ryes are two you could enjoy. Absolutely 60 hertz. As a matter of fact, I've got a Redemption Rye right there. Whoops, right there. Store pick from Total Wine that's absolutely out of this world. Absolutely out of this world. I've had that bottle a couple of weeks, and I'm pert near at half. And when I first got it, I sipped the heck out of that thing. I mean, it was like calling my name. It's like, holy smokes, this thing is good. And I'm pretty sure they still have them on the shelf. I probably should go down there and pick up one more to have, just because that was a good store pick. But they have the non-store pick right next to it, and I'm like, same ash bill. That's the high rye bourbon. Let me see. Yeah, high rye bourbon. 60 corn, 36 rye, 4 barley, aged in new charred oak barrels. 52.5 ABV. So what do we got? 105 on the proof on this. Non-chill filtered. And I don't expect you to be able to read it. It's just the way the light's reflecting off of it. But it's darn good. Darn good. So they have this but not the store pick. So they have this store pick, non-store pick, $10 difference. Woo. But it's like, well, yeah, you absolutely. Yes. Yeah, this is terrific. I mean, really is good. Go buy it. But what I'm saying is I'm tempted to go and buy the non-store pick. It's identical, other than not a store pick. What's it taste like? But then if it's not as good and I missed out on the last one that is the store pick for $10 more, yeah, I'll hate myself. I'll hate myself. But I don't know. I do not know. But yeah, the high rise 60 hertz is that bottle is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Now there's the sweetness. There's the sweetness there on this rye. Now here comes the spice on the finish. Oiliness. It's not a flavor bomb by any means. Not a flavor bomb. But it's good. Yeah, it's definitely good. Maybe my palate was a bit ruined by the triple R. Don't know. I don't think so, because 90 proof, 100 proof. Redemption only comes down here in the lower proof offerings, unfortunately. Really? No, that's right. I forgot where you are for a second there. Well, like you said, in 5 years, you might get the higher offerings. You just don't know. You just don't know. Now I'm getting a little bit of that sugar, that like caramelized sugar on the palate. Not a lot on the nose. Not a lot on the nose. It's not, like I said, not horrible. Still has great legs. That's for sure. Yeah, that's good. I mean, would it be like, oh my God, I got to come home and have this every day? No. That redemption? Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. That redemption calls me. So does Smoke Wagon, but it just does. Really, really, really good. If I haven't told you guys that already, really good on that redemption. Really good. And the best thing is I'm off today, tomorrow, whatever you want to call it. It is tomorrow officially here. So it is Thursday morning, 12:15 a.m. So I'm off. I don't have to, go into work. I don't even have to go in on Friday if I don't want to. But I am. I'm going to go in. Some things I need to do, and they want to pay me to do it. Okay. So I'll go in Friday and then I'll take the weekend off to recuperate. But, Yeah, it is a good sipper. There's no doubt about that. The Magnolia is definitely a good sipper. It's something that I would definitely share, not because I want to get rid of it, but I would almost say, and you know what I just realized I'm not getting on this? Do you get mint once you've taken your sipper ride? Does it come back on the palate as a little mintiness? I don't seem to be getting that on this one. With the Elijah Craig rye and the 94 that I have up there, I definitely will get a mint out of that. It's not strong, but I know it's there. This one, I'm just not picking up on that note, and it just dawned on me as I'm searching the palate to try to figure out that bread smell that I got in here, and I'm like, is that it? I don't know. So, now that, let's see, I just got like a caramel right there with that. Well, I said like a caramelized sugar, so duh. So that would make sense. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Oh my gosh. Okay. 60 hertz. We have a restaurant chain here called Olive Garden. And it's an Italian restaurant. So, pastas and so on and so forth. When I was in college, late 80s, I worked there. And one of the things they always gave you were those chocolates with the mint on the bottom and the chocolate on the top. I ate those like they were free. They were to me. I ate them and ate them and ate them. Now, don't give me that crap. I don't want those things. As a matter of fact, when we go there, I just give them to my wife. I'm done with them. Done with those mints. However, I got your reference. When you said the pillows, because that brought back that memory. I'm like, man, I ate them like they were free, and they were. I mean, they'd come in sleeves in the boxes. There'd be like 3 sleeves in a box, and so we would set them out so the servers could grab them, and then there was 2 people in your party or 4. You'd get 1 or 2 per person, and they'd bring them out with the check. And you would have those afterwards to cleanse your palate or whatever. Yeah, no, not anymore. I ate them like there was nobody's business. And I can't do it anymore. But the mint, yeah, it is a natural thing, but I cannot say I'm getting that on this. And I don't on all ryes. But I do love that rye spice. And this just was not as spicy as I thought it should be on the Magnolia. It's good. It just wasn't what I was expecting. I mean, it's definitely a good rye. It's a good rye. Definitely pick up a bottle. Is it the best I've had? And I've said already no. I'm going to point to that redemption over there and go, man, that's good. The rare breed rye that I got there. The 101 rye, sorry. The Wild Turkey 101 that's there, too. Those are good rye, especially that rare breed rye. Oh, that's good too. So, if you're still lurking around there, Ken, what time is your stream? Let me know, because I don't. Right now, I can't see that, and if you put the thumbnails up already, I'd know. I'm gonna finish this pour up here, and I think I'm gonna. I don't know what I want to have. I do want the redemption, but I'm at 100, so that's 105. I'm not going to go to 94. Now, what was this one? I can't remember what this one is. Let me move this one a little closer. Ken probably would know. Oh, it's 90. Emerald Giant, the Redwood Empire. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to drop down. I think I'll stay up here where I'm at on the 100. Uh, 100 would be better. I think I'll stay right in there, and then definitely go to the Redemption Rare Breed, and maybe a little Rare Breed. I'll go into the Smoke Wagon over there, because that's around 115, even though it's not a rye. 36% rye in the mash bill. It has an excellent rye spice, excellent butterscotch, like a creme brulee type of a sweetness to it. Cinnamon, definitely cinnamon in the Smoke Wagon. Well, maybe I spoke too soon, 60 hertz. Or maybe it's my mind, but guess what? Mint. Finally picking that out of there. That it's not like wham, mint. No. Some rise, I get that for sure. It's like, yep, there's that mintiness. There's that mintiness. And sometimes that's what turns people off, is that mint. Hey, JD, one of the bottle shops here is getting a store pick, and I think the store pick is going to be the Frey Ranch rye. I know it's a Frey Ranch. I can't remember if they said it was the straight or not, but it in itself, I got a sample, and I just don't remember, but oh my gosh, was it delicious. Frey Ranch in itself is good, but this store pick has got to be phenomenal, and if it turns out to be a rye, yeah, I'm going to have to go into my sock money and get some of those, because that thing was really, really good. On the exhale, I got that. Yeah. Now that you're making me think. Frey Ranch, no. Frey Ranch actually grows their own grain. So they grow the grain, they distill the grain that they distilled goes into the barrel, and the barrel that they have goes into the bottle. And that is made up here in northern Nevada. So a couple of hours for me. And but no, they're grain to bottle. They do it all in one spot. They're not, I don't want to say they're not like a Jack Daniels or a Jim Beam. You know, they're not churning out. But if you have means to acquire yourself some of that, 60 hertz, absolutely. Especially the rye, it's good. It's good. It's something to have on your bar that you're just that yeah, people just don't have. And I like having interesting things like that you just don't see a lot of, and it's good and at a reasonable price. And we all talked about this. Some of the stuff is just getting way out of hand, and finding a good 40, 50, $60 bottle uh, is getting harder. Uh, Stuff that I was buying at 20 to 25 is now about 30 and going from there, only because one, everything goes up in general, but people are starting to discover some of these bourbons that are lower priced, like Old Tub. That's a Jim Beam product. I like it. Used to get it for $22 a bottle. Now you're seeing it 25, 28 on the bottle. I'm sure some of it is because of inflation, but it's just becoming popular. Normally, people wouldn't touch bottles. Oh, it's $20. I'm not going to buy that. And I'd laugh when I see them walk away from it. I don't say nothing. I just chuckle and go, more for me. Oh, really? So you're not a huge rye fan then? 60 hertz? Well, you know what, Lilith? You can talk all you want to Chris's brother. Family's family. Yeah. Okay, JD. Yeah, like I said, they're always limited. They're very, very limited on their bottles because, like I said, they're not a big distiller or producer. They're just not. But they make a very good product. Very good product, that Frey Ranch. I right now don't own a bottle yet, but I will be correcting that. There's just so many other ones out there, and a few things had popped up that I had to take advantage of and grab it, particularly like the Elijah Craig C921. I got the call. It's like, it's in my hand. You better come now. And so, okay. Well, then guess what? MGP rye right here. Yep. So you won't have a problem with that one. Wow, that was just like the last little bits here as it opens up in my glass. Oh yeah, that Magnolia definitely 60 hertz would definitely be a safe bet for you. Since you said MGPs you can tolerate, as a matter of fact, you wouldn't have no problem sipping on it. This is definitely an MGP sourced out of Indiana. I think it's good. Like I said, it's not blowing me out of this chair. However, uh, I'm happy with it. I'm definitely happy with it. And I like MGP stuff. So I'm sure you know that Smoke Wagon is all MGP. So I definitely like MGP. Whiskey Lovers Society, cheers. Have a good day at work. I'm looking forward to seeing a few more of your reviews, and you never know. Maybe one day we'll be on the same stream together. So, cheers, sir. Mm. Well, JD, I trust your palate and your judgment on things. So, yeah, I agree with you. That Frey Ranch is, yeah, it's definitely one I have to add to the bar. There's just, I've got to. It's just, it's just plain good. And like I said, the reason why I just haven't is other things have popped up, and the Frey Ranch has just been there. But you're right, the store picks aren't. So when this one pops up, I'm probably just going to go ahead and, like I said, reach into that sock money and just say, yeah, I got to have it. Got to have it. Let me have that thing. And then add it to the bar. Because you have their straight bourbon, then you have their rye. So, yeah, I'll get the store pick, and then I'll probably end up buying the straight bourbon and that. But I've tried the straight bourbon, and it is good. But the rye, to me, for some reason, is just, I'm going to grab that rye every time, even if it's just the everyday rye, not the store pick. It's just good. It is just good. And if I remember correctly, you're coming home in what, 4 weeks or something like that, JD, give or take, because you won't be home for Thanksgiving, if I remember right. I think you were on Ken's stream when you made the comment or something like that. Pretty sure that's where I had last chatted with you at this morning. Yes, well, not this morning, because this morning is just starting for me. Yesterday morning, give or take. But anyway, all right. Done with that. Done with that. You know what, 60 hertz, that Willet, I'm hearing the same thing. You either like it or you don't. And I've actually tasted some. I'm like, yeah, that's not bad. But like you said, $125. Sorry, it better blow me back in this chair. Okay. I thought you had about a month to go. Like I said, it must have been yesterday morning. I got to think of where I'm at. Yesterday morning on Ken's stream before it went haywire. Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? Fine. Knob Creek Rye. You either hate it or love it. You know, I've got a bottle unopened of Knob Creek Rye, and I probably have 4 or 5 store picks of Knob Creek bourbon. And I will tell you an interesting thing that I couldn't believe. So I have 3 store picks. They were bottled, or excuse me, they were distilled, barreled, and bottled literally within days of each other. Days. Then put in the rick house. Brought out, store picks, they were done. Yes, they have a little bit of that peanut in it that the Knob Creek has. But each one is definitely different. A, B, and C. When you sip them, it's like, wow, that's not the same. That's not the same. That's not they just, I was like, holy smokes. Of course, I bought them because I got to sample them. And they weren't the chintzy little samples. They gave you something to taste. So you can get a couple of tastes out of it. And it's 120 proof. If I remember correctly, I have to look at the bottle again. But yeah, I think it's 120 on the proof on that. So it really has some flavor to it. Really has some flavor and a creaminess to it from when I had the samples. And where I was fortunate is the bottle they gave me the samples from was half empty, half full, however you want to look at it. So it had a chance to open up. So you're really into the meat of the bottle. It was good. Lilith, I've got New Riff Rye. I've got a bottle uncracked. It's in there. Now I have a Whistle Pig 12. Whistle Pig 12, I think that's what it is. Yeah, in the rye, but it was a store pick. And I wasn't fond of Whistle Pig 10. There was a taste about it that was off-putting to me, and I just didn't like it. And but this 12, was it 12 or was it the 15? Ooh, I think it was the 15, not a 12. I don't know why I said 12, but anyway, that was good. That was good. I've got a little bit left. I don't know why I didn't bring it out because it's a rye, but I just left it on the shelf. I probably should have just finished that thing up because, you know, it's in a 2-ounce sample bottle, and I shouldn't just leave it in there, but I did. So let me get something else here. Let's see. Where did I say I was going to go because of my proof? I know what I'm going to do. Just for 60 hertz, we're going to do a little redemption high rye here. Grab a Glen. Cheers, Lilith. Enjoy the meal. There we go. Just another little taste. Yeah, you can't go wrong with this redemption. Not at all. Definite flavor bomb in comparison. I'm sorry, I'm not knocking Magnolia, the one I just had, but that little bit more in proof, mixed with a little more corn. I know, but man, wow. It's just like boom. So I really do like the high rye bourbons. So yes, I like the rye, 95% rye. But if I'm picking, I like the flavor profile a little bit better in the high rye bourbon. Huh, that's interesting. Cola. Wow. I don't know if I get that now that you kind of triggered that in my mind and that taste. Be interesting to see what I get from that 60 hertz. When you say the cola 60 hertz, are you referring to the sweetness you get from like a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi? Is that what you're referring to? Or the actual, how do I want to say, taste of Coke, taste of Pepsi? Hmm. Oh, really? Wow, that's interesting because I don't get that at all. I've never heard of that, JD. Spirits Works Distillery. No. Mm-mm. 57.4. Wow. Yeah, that would be a good high rye bourbon for sure. Hey, 60 hertz. What part of the world are you in? I forgot. I don't remember if you were Australia, UK, or. Sorry, I'm just having a moment here. Like I said, I know where JD is and Lilith and so on and so forth, and I'm just it happens, especially once you get over 50. Shit, it just that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's what I thought. I thought it was New Zealand. Okay. One thing for sure. I do like the lamb from there. Without a doubt. I'm definitely gonna have to look that up, JD. Spirits Works Distillery. We might even have it here. I just haven't paid attention to it. But now that you have mentioned it, I'll have to, you know, take a look at some of the shops here and uh, and see what's there. Because I love the high rye bourbon. Like I said, that's why I'm a fan of Smoke Wagon. It's 30%, 36% rye. Mm. Like I said, too, is I like Scotch, but for me, the flavor out of the bourbon is just. Mm. But now that I know there are higher proof scotches, um, yeah. So now I'm even more interested in some of that and getting into the peated scotches. Um, Not the knock your socks off peat to where it's like chewing on a campfire. Yeah, I'm not there yet, but the very lightly peated to where it's peated. However, you're still getting the sweetness and the fruits out of the whiskey, but you get that 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 smoke. It's like, oh yeah, it's not bad. So I had the Wee Beastie uh, Arbeg a few weeks ago after I had a bout with the pirate Arbeg, I call it. And ugh, iodine and Band-Aid is what I tasted for 20 minutes after about 3 sips on a sample of that. I was like, yeah, that just. So I was at another thing about a month ago, and Arbeg was there, and they had 5, 6 of their expressions there, and then one of them was Wee Beastie. So I told the guy, and he said, "You got to try the Wee Beastie." He goes, "I think you're really going to like it. It has this, it has that." And I was skeptical because I told him, I go, "Look, I don't want the taste of like I've been sucking on a box of Band-Aids all day." I go, "Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, look here." Okay. So anyway, I tried that Wee Beastie. And that wee beastie was pretty darn good. Got the sweetness from it, but the smoky flavor from the peat was not off-putting. It was not overpowering. It was not overbearing. And so he said, if you like this, definitely try the 10-year on the Ardbeg. He says it's night and day difference, but the peat level is about the same. But there are different nuances in this, and being a 10-year-old versus a 5-year-old Scotch, he goes, you will see what I'm talking about once you try it. I did not try the 10-year-old. So, I don't know. So, getting back to why I haven't bought the Frey Ranch, there's just so many other things that I look at and go, ooh. Now, the Ugadel, 60 hertz, absolutely. So, that wasn't there at the time to try. However, that being said, people that I mention Scotch to that know Scotch, they all mention Ugadel. It always comes up in the conversation of one you got to try then, one you got to try. It's not a peat monster, not like the whiskey peat monster, but that's what they refer to it as. It's definitely not. However, it is a peated Scotch, but you do get that smoke, but that smoke is not overpowering or overbearing. Again, it's just one of those things. It's I go for A, but then something I don't see all the time all of a sudden is there. And I'm like, do I buy A or pop up B? I grabbed the other one. But getting back to Frey Ranch, yeah, I definitely have got to get some of that and add it to the collection at some particular point in time. People just have to stop calling me and saying, hey, I got this, I got that. You have, an hour or two to get here. All right, on my way. Anybody catch Jim's stream today? The pinch hitter? I think he had a trivia thing. I couldn't get it to play. I was on break at work, and I was just finished my lunch, and I noticed it was on there. I kept every time I would hit on it to bring up the stream. I got the one from like 2 weeks ago. I go, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I want this one. I couldn't pull it up. So maybe later on here, I'll see if I can't get onto it here. But that's right. I forgot you do a little home brewing. Yeah, you either like it or you don't, JD. It's just like anything. It's not Glendronach. It's not a big distillery. So yeah, and I don't know enough to say A, it's this, or B, it's that. Yeah, I'm not that good on Scotch. But I know I like certain ones. And so that's where I'm I'm kind of testing the waters and bouncing off the things as I go. So one thing for sure, it's been a good night here chatting with you guys and just having a pour. I hadn't been able to sit back and do this in a while, but it's been, work gets in the way. And then sometimes when you get home, you're like, holy smokes, I'm just exhausted. So you take your shower, you pour yourself a dram and you sit down, and after you have a glass, it's like, yeah, I'm just going to bed. So you just don't feel like it. But then too is when I get home, because I'm on the West Coast, a lot of people that do certain streams that I'm interested in are done after I get home. But Cheech and I have talked, and he does his encore, his whiskey encore. Maybe I'll be the next late night stream for a while until my shift changes, but nobody's on at this time, especially here. And the West Coasters, well, this isn't too late. And then when I came on, isn't too late for them. But Independent Joe, Livewire Whiskey, Adam, and a few others are at that fundraiser for the fallen Marine that Independent Joe did the fundraiser for. And we all, well, not me, but when I say we, Whiskey Tube put forth a lot of bottles to raise money for the cause. Well, that was last night. Yes, because we're on the 11th now. I had to think for a second. That was last night. So I know Adam and Independent Joe and I don't know who all else, but they were going to Oklahoma is where I think it is. And so they were doing that today because Independent Joe's out in California too. Of course, Adam's up in Utah, but I guess he met Adam, and I don't know if they drove or what. And I'm trying to remember. Somebody else was flying. Oh, I think it was it Jason Busey? Anyway, I just know that there were a bunch of people going that way. But so some of the people that are normally on this side of the world, they're doing other things. Time. That's an unusual note, tasting note to have in a whiskey. But, when it's a peated whiskey, who knows what flavors you might pull out of it because of the smoke. Yeah, the caramel finish would be great. The sweetness of the like a cherry Coke, yeah, that would be good. With a little smoke from the peat, yeah, that's it. The time thing would be like, I'd have to definitely try that without a doubt before I would go, oh yeah, let's just get a bottle of that. That'd be definitely one that I would definitely have to try that one. All right. I think it's time for another little pour here. Let's see. I already did the redemption. That's 105. You know what? Let's do a little rare breed rye. Why not? This has been a fabulous drink. Fabulous. As a matter of fact, I've been nice to this bottle. And what do we got here? 112 proof, 56.1 ABV. I just think it's good, JD. Honestly, I just like it. I don't know. I like that spice. I like that little bit of heat you get on the back end of it. And the oiliness of some of them, the viscosity is tremendous. Just like 60 Hertz said, is the barley oils come across as meaty even in non-peated whiskey. But I think that's one of the things I like about a rye. And I know some people that don't drink ryes from spring through summer. They only started them up again in fall. Why? But to each his own. I mean, I don't care. But to me, it's like, no. Ooh, nice cork pop. America. Where's my glass here? Get my glass. Let's just pour another little drop here. There we go. Give that one a taste. I know so many people would walk away from Wild Turkey 101 and never think about putting it in their hand, let alone on their bar. Now, this isn't 101, but as far as I'm concerned, you people just keep walking by this. You don't like it, and that's fine with me. That just means there's more for me. Oh, gets a little bit of that ethanol out of there. So the turkey, if you really can't get the 101, this the what I call the standard expression, 60 hertz, I wouldn't touch it. I'm sorry. That little bit more in proof really brings out the flavors in it. However, that being said, either in the turkey or the Woodford series, yeah, you only get the lower proof. So add about 2 drops of distilled water to your dram when you pour it. That should bring out a little more flavor in it. That's the only thing that gets me about the lower proof bourbons or other whiskeys, scotches in general, that I don't like. I just wish they were 90 is like where it's okay. Excuse me, is okay, but I like 100 proof is my sweet spot. It just really seems to have the flavor to me when you get to that particular range on it. 110, 112, 15, 118, 20. Now you're getting into an area for me. It's just like, oh, heaven. And some people go, oh my gosh, it's like fire. What are you talking about? I've got a Obtainium light whiskey that, what is it, 135, 136 on the proof. Oh my gosh. Hey, it drinks like this. But boy, you get into that second glass and you're getting ready to think you're going to have a third. Yeah, you're going to feel that coming right onto you with that Obtainium light whiskey. And people, it's a misconception. Well, it's light whiskey. It has nothing to do with that. Hey, what's up, Top Shelf? Well, for you it's 4 a.m. For me it's 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. So what this is it started out as a um, try not to sneeze. For some reason I just wanted to sneeze coming. So sorry about that. A Veterans Day Eve thing, and then we did a salute to our veterans, and then kept the BSing. Go to bed earlier. I haven't been to bed yet. I haven't been to bed since yesterday. Yeah. Haven't been to bed. Yeah, since yesterday. I had to think, what is today? Today's the 11th. So last time I went to bed, the last time I laid my head down on the bed, it was the 9th. It was the 9th. I had to think about that. Yeah, it was the 9th. So that was the last time this head touched a pillow, was the 9th. Mm-hmm. So are you just working, lurking, and jerking there, Top Shelf? Ah, this rare breed rye is good. Love it. Oh, speaking of high ABV scotches, there's the man to ask. Top Shelf. Ah, yeah. When you're traveling, particularly if you're flying, man, especially jumping from East Coast to West Coast or West Coast to East Coast. Usually when I leave here and go to Pennsylvania, I'm good because of the time difference. Even though you're 3 hours ahead, it doesn't hit me for a while. And then when it does, yeah, it's like, man, it just racks my world. Oh, that's cool, JD. I would love to do that. Love to do that. I'll let you know when. Matter of fact, I will do a stream just for that. So, and you can be a part of it. You can be if you want to. No strings attached. But yeah, that'd be great. Um, I'm sure you got my Gmail, Bourbon Neophyte at Gmail. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So it's there. Oh, that's terrible, Dustin. Yeah, that's terrible. Working, eating, and drinking. Yeah, that's terrible. Well, yeah, that's the bummer too, where you just can't even sit down and you know do anything. Just yeah, yep. But JD, getting back to the rise, I think you heard me earlier. That's the way I prefer to do them. Yeah, I'm going to try a few here and there, let the bottles open up, get them down to the shoulder, but then eventually I'll have my wife pour me 3 or 4 different glasses. Only she knows what they are, and do it just like I did with the Elijah Craig before. It was the 18, the A121, and I think it was a small batch. Boy, I can't remember now, but um, the 18 came in dead last, and it was like that close between the small batch and the A121. But because of the proof of the A121, I'm like, I just like that better. I don't want to say I'm a proof statute or a proofy bitch, but I like a higher ABV on it because it's just has so much more flavor and complexity when you bump up that ABV. So that's why I said my sweet spot is the 100 proof. That really, to me, in different spirits, that's what I like. However, that being said, as you know, there's some 90 proof ryes that I'm like, damn, this is good. So I will digress a little bit, but in general, 100 proof and north is where I like to be. But certain expressions prove me wrong from time to time. Mm, 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 mm. You can't go wrong with a little wild turkey rye. I don't care. Really, really good. But JD or Dustin, that Ben Rick, that Whiskey Lover Society that did. I don't know if you guys saw his video, but I think it was 57 ABV. And I've actually seen a Ben Rick here. I just don't remember the ABV. It could have been 57. And it sparked my interest because of just the flavors that were in that thing. And most scotches, as you know, are 80, maybe 90 if you're lucky. I'm just kind of on the fence. In other words, I think I might want to try some of that stuff. I really would like to, and the only thing that keeps me from putting both feet in the water when it comes to different scotches is the lack of flavor. Yeah, that's fine, JD. I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. Yep, 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 yep. I'll make the thumbnail and so on and so forth, and make it like a holiday theme or something like that. And yeah, you can definitely join in if you want to, and be on the stream. And what the heck? Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. I really mean it. Thank you. Mm. It just has such good viscosity to it. The wild turkey rye, good legs. I love the spice that I get on this thing. It's just a good pour. It's consistently a good pour. I've had other people's bottle of wild turkey rye, and it's just consistently good. I know there is differences in each batch, but it's just consistently good. Every time consistently good. So I'm really, really happy with it. Mm-mm-mm. So JD, you're still at work, correct? Because I know you said you were sitting watching the tank fires. Mm. Mm. Cleaning off my palate a little bit here. Okay. 11 a.m. Like I said, every people on the stream and in the chat are, all over the place. And the only one that's on my side of the world is Dustin, and he's in Ohio, and he's 3 hours ahead of me. So, oh yeah, we're seeing just a small uptick here, 60 hertz. We were below 6%. Now we jumped up above 6%, but no other restrictions or anything like that on. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Dude, just chilling after work. Okay, exactly. Okay. Now, I don't know if the one I saw was a 12-year, but it was like 55 or 57 ABV.
So you probably got one of the, you probably found the batch proof. I kid you not, I literally bought this yesterday.
Oh, where'd you find that at?
I just picked it up at a store locally on my way home.
Okay. So you're talking like, well, I'm going to say Kroger's or something like that.
I mean, it's a bigger store than that, but.
Yeah. I remember when I was in Ohio, was it Giant Eagle? So. I'm trying to remember. It was Giant Eagle or whatever, but one of those I'd go into and get different ones.
Yeah, Giant Eagle's kind of your one of the bigger chains, although they're not really that. They just put one in the Cincinnati area. So we hadn't had one of those for a while, but it's all state run. It's all the same.
Yeah.
But no, I got this in Kentucky on my way up.
Okay.
The Cincinnati airport is actually in Kentucky, so.
Yes. Yeah. Just literally across the street, and then you're in Kentucky. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little more than across the street even. I mean, it's a little bit of a trip.
Yeah. Did you see 60 hertz?
I saw him in here, but I actually
his last comment here.
I closed the window when I first hopped in here.
That's all right.
To make sure
I popped that up.
Dual sound. Oh yeah, Hertz. I just saw it, and believe it or not, it's a Rachel Berry blend, which I thought she left there and wasn't still involved, but I guess she's still doing their blending. So this showed up. I don't know, maybe there and wasn't still involved, but I don't know. This showed up maybe a month ago, and I've been looking at it. It's really cheap, so I'm a little nervous.
I'm a little nervous.
You don't always get what you pay for in whiskey, but sometimes you do.
Yeah. Do you know what the ABV is?
Yeah, so I don't buy anything in Scotch under 46 generally, and that's kind of the magic number. Because at 46 in Scotch, they don't need to chill filter, so they usually don't. That said, this bottle does not appear to make any reference to if they do or don't. Let's see here. No reference. So I don't know Ben Rick that well as far as their standards, but you kind of anymore if they don't put it on the label, you have to assume the worst. So they probably chill filter. It's probably colored, although I mean the color's not. That's looking darker than it really is in person. I'm in a very dark room, which is the only way I have color on my face. Well, what happens is I put the light up there, and I've been working on it over here where I now have the I've gone to like all dark themes, and the dark themes on the monitor in front of me kind of give me like a nice not ultra bright white color that just like bleaches my skin out even more.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Ken joined us. I thought I said 46. Ken, did I screw up? Smells good. So I believe this one is, and I'm letting it kind of open up here as I talk. But it's a bourbon cask, sherry cask, and then Marsala wine casks. They're supposed to use a portion of this is supposed to have peat in it, but not all peated malts. So.
What are you getting on the nose?
I mean, you're definitely picking up that smoke. There's a little bit of what's starting at first to kind of come off as like young ethanol, but I'm thinking it's actually a little bit of like an orange citrus. Yeah, like a marmalade, but a really citrusy one, like orange juice and marmalade. Like you just made your breakfast. You got a tall glass of orange juice. You put some like orange marmalade on your toast, with no toast.
No toast. Okay.
There's not actually the toast, but it's like the smell you get from the marmalade as it hits that like warm bread.
Hmm.
Um,
And that's what I said about this. I said I was getting a little bread in that, and I cracked it because it was given to me by a veteran.
oh, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'm just kind of getting there's a hint of smoke here, a little bit of peat. Nothing like if you were drinking peated whiskey and you went to this, you'd think there's nothing there.
Really? So that's something I'd be interested in. Like I said, I'm slowly getting back into the peat. And a few weeks ago, I did the Ardbeg Wee Beastie. And then everyone says, you might as well just go to the Ugadel
Might
or
as
the
well.
10. Yeah. They said it is not strong in peat, but it has much better flavor. And it's an older whiskey.
I mean, the Ugadel may be older. It's not stated. My guess is it's around 6, but which
I
is
was going to say, I think it is. The guy from Ardbeg told me to go to the 10.
the 10's really the one of the best whiskeys in my opinion for understanding peat versus smoke because the 10 is not super smoky. But it is very peated.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that one, man. And again, it's such a good value in most parts of the country.
Yeah, it's $60 or less.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I saw it for around 55 for the 10.
yeah, we get sales every year here. It feels like for under 50 even. And I mean, when that happens,
Yeah.
I can't not buy a bottle. I mean, it's just like, come on.
Well, the thing is just to find a decent bottle of scotch for $50 or less. It's just like the bourbon. To find one that's at a good price, that's a good drinker every day, it's getting harder and harder to find.
It really is. I mean, Scotch got hit by the tariffs. So let's not jump too much into politics beyond the.
Isn't that getting lifted now?
They've been lifted. I don't think there's like an official long-term plan yet, but that's the problem we run into, right? It's politicians love to let's put it on pause. That doesn't do any damn good. I need you to end it or not. But once you get that in there, you then have to recycle through the supply chain, and by the time you've gone back through the supply chain, it could take years.
Yeah.
And then it's the problem we run into is now we're dealing with this whole supply chain crap and
Oh God, yes.
and I mean that's one of those issues where people want to get political and I'm like, guys, no, this isn't political.
Mm-mm.
This was structural. Unless you want to complain to I don't know Clinton or the first Bush or Reagan or somebody way back then. I mean, we've been in this global supply chain system for forever.
And two, you cannot help that the world's economy in different aspects shut down for months.
It's still shut down in places. It's still not fully. We're not 100% back.
No, it's going to be a little bit. And like I'm telling people when we go through this is, look, the stuff is there. They just can't unload it. And then when they do, there's not enough people to load the trucks. But there's more people working on the docks than there ever was. It's just that the docks aren't big enough to handle everything that's there. And so it's just going to take time.
Whew. No lack of flavor on this thing.
Really? Well, let's hear it.
Oh, man. So it is smoky. They nailed that beautifully. My palate, I'm noticing right now, got a little morning breath thing going on here, so I'm a little muted in a few areas. It's 4 a.m. I just got out of bed, but like I got up, I checked my email. I did a couple things while you were talking just to like make sure I was ready to where I got a couple things I'm going to do for work today, but I mean, I'm basically I'll be off. I'll probably hop on around noon and work for a few hours just to get caught up because travel. But so give me a second here to kind of put my thoughts together.
Yeah.
So you got the nice vanilla, kind of to your point on the 46 versus 50. It is a hair thin. Let's give one more little shot here.
On the viscosity?
Yeah. And when I say that, when it first hits your tongue, those 50 proof, especially in the bourbon world, there's kind of a punch. It doesn't have to be like one that hurts. It's just there's a punch. This one doesn't hit there. But then when it gets to like not the back of your tongue, but the middle of your tongue, you start getting oiliness. You start getting some viscosity, and you realize, no, actually, it's not too bad. And I think that's where this one is. It's just enough to where I don't think you'd have any issues with it. But it's not a punch. But yeah, the Marcella cask comes in real nice. I don't know exactly what that wine tastes like, but I definitely get a nice sweet wine note. I get the vanilla. I get I get a little bit of chocolate, so maybe that's probably the sherry cask. Definitely citrus, definitely some orange, definitely very smoky. Man, for like $63, this is a damn good whiskey. I don't know what Ken's paying for it, probably $63,000, but
well, with that ABV, yeah, he probably is.
Yeah, but no, 46 is a good spot. That's the sweet spot for Scotch. They don't do a lot of stuff higher. It's out there, but it's hard to find. As long as you get 46 and not 40 and not 43, you're usually good. And most of these quality brands are doing 46 these days. The big boys are now big boys are pushing 40 more and more, but everybody's trying to compete with them. 46 is the standard, and they're winning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's funny, but I really fully believe that your Glenlivets, your Macallans, your Glenfarclas, to a lesser extent, but still to an extent, your Glenfiddich, I don't know if I said them, Johnny Walker, they're going to start losing more and more market share as more and more people become whiskey drinkers in general. And those of us in bourbon, I mean, there's Basil Hayden, but for the most part, bourbon started 45. That anybody knows. And I think they're just going to start losing market share because people who are in the States are going to come over to these lower proof scotches and go, nah, that's not for me. And then they're going to discover a 46er and go, oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's why I lean more a little bit towards the bourbon for the higher proof and the flavor.
Yeah, so if you pop open the bottle 60 hertz and you don't just look at the tin, they really kind of do a nice job of kind of giving you a good idea of the maturation, bold, no subtlety here. They give you tasting notes, which, whatever. I didn't really look closely at them, although I am picking up the orange she's talking about on the nose, and I got a hint of chocolate. I don't know about the brown sugar part, but fruit peel sounds reasonable. So, yeah, I mean, they did a pretty good job on the disclosure on this one. Other than, again, it doesn't say anything about coloring or chill filtering. So, my impression's Benriach doesn't, but again, when they don't say it, they don't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, this was only like $10 more than the 10, maybe. Not even, if that. I mean, the 10 was basically the same price. So, and they had two different 12s they just came out with. There was this, and there was some other one that I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I gotta say, I mean, I'm not gonna give this like a super, super high score, but everybody's been talking about that Aaron 10 recently. I don't know if you've it's made it to your world, Neophyte.
Mm-mm.
So, did you see the Scotch Whiskey online awards that Roy?
Yeah, remember I chatted with you there from Aquavita. Yeah.
Yeah. So the winner of best entry level and best overall whiskey was the Aaron 10.
Which one?
The Aaron 10.
Yeah. Yes.
This, to me, way better whiskey just off of the first little neck pour here.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and it's funny, Mike and I reviewed the Aaron 10, and believe it or not, we actually released it the day after the award show. That was not intended.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of worked out that way. And I was just absolutely blown away by the response we got from the community, just going, I don't know what the hell they were smoking when they did that. There's 60 hertz. So the unpeated 12 is port, bourbon, and cherry casks. Ooh, I like port.
Yeah, I've got a.
I gotta stop. I gotta hop off cam just for a second here. I gotta do something real quick.
Yep. But peat for me is something I'm going to have to ease back into. It's just not something that you can dive into. Although I know people that, love those peat monster scotches. I mean, they just can't get enough of it. And that's great. Me, no. If I want to, taste Band-Aids and iodine all day, I'll just suck on a box of Band-Aids and drip some iodine in my mouth. But yeah, that's just not it.
I love the smoke. I love the depth peat ads without needing to pay a lot more. Dude, Ken, I'm always down for port and anything. You just give me port and bourbon, port and peat, port and maybe just a glass of port.
There's a winery here in Vegas, up in a town called Pahrump, and they make a pretty darn good port. I bought a bottle maybe 2 years ago, late summer, early fall. Trying to think of when my wife and I were up there with the RV, but damn, it was good. But I don't remember if it was a tawny port or whatever, but it was just good. It wasn't gaggy sweet or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
But it was really, it was just a good drink. I was like, man,
That's what we're going
what
for,
have I
man,
been
right?
missing?
I mean, that's all we really ask for as geeks, as enthusiasts. I mean, we just want something's good.
And it wasn't expensive, $30, $35, maybe 40. I mean, I'm just pulling it out of the air because it's been a while, but
Yeah, I don't buy port enough to know what like an expensive port is.
yeah, I don't know. I'm looking into the Armagnac now, and since I actually had an actual taste of it, and I'm sorry I don't remember what I actually tasted, but holy smokes, it was good. It reminded me of a Scotch almost with just the way it tasted, and I know it's not.
Oh no,
But I
it's
was like,
a whole different animal, and they're
yeah, exactly. But I was like, oh my gosh, it was just good. So now I haven't went down the rabbit hole, but I'm swirling because I'm looking at different things and going,
Chris is looking for the old Carter Batch 9 bourbon. I should have just bought a bunch of those and just sold them to you guys because I have no interest in those bottles. But old Carter is just way too expensive for what they're putting out these days for me. But well, I say that the Americans are probably worth what they're charging, but not the bourbons. But I should just grab those when I see them and just ship them off to you guys that are chasing them.
well, there's some people definitely would buy them from you. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I've not seen old Carters out here. I just haven't.
yeah. I mean, I'm in Kentucky when I do most of my shopping, and so I see most of them. I don't think I've seen every batch. I'm pretty sure I did see the 9 at one point, and I passed. And then I got tried over Mash and Drums, and I was very glad I passed. It's a good bourbon, but it didn't stand out amongst like the 9, 10. All the recent batches have all been really kind of similar. They're just out of quality bourbon stock. Everywhere is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris, I mean, that's all. That's the price I see for them, and they might be getting closer to 200 these days, but they're always 180, 200 range.
Mm-hmm.
I got stores that actually do markup, and they sell them for like 210, 220 maybe.
Wow.
So nobody's trying to like profiteer off of old Carter in this area.
And that's good. I mean, it is, and
It's
I
just
go into different bottle shops out here, and I see, what was it for the toasted barrel, Elijah Craig? They're selling for 150. I'm like, you're high. I mean, if you get it, great. I'm not the one going to give that to you. I mean, it's a $59, $65, somewhere right in between there. That's it.
I
And you're
wouldn't pay
selling,
that price.
oh, $150. You're crazy.
To me, it's $35 bourbon. Anything more than
Yeah.
that, it's just too much for me. I tried it.
And I think it actually at MSRP is 40 or $45. It's right on the
It's
on the
close to
site.
50, I thought, for the retail. And to me, it's
Yeah.
just overpriced. It's just not very good.
So for me, like I said, $20 over is generally when I look at it and I go, yeah, I'll pay that, but I won't pay more than 20 because if I said, hey, I want a bottle of this, ship it, it's 15 to $20 to hand deliver it. So that's how I justify it depending upon
Sure.
where it is. And then they had that strike. So, I don't know
Strike
how
doesn't
all that
seem to
was
be
worked
impacting a
out
lot
for
of
'em.
stuff yet, but we'll see. Yeah, Chris, I did try one of the ryes, like the batch 3 rye, and that was a really good rye. I actually really enjoyed that one. But again, I don't know if and I think rye stock is still pretty good. So, but man, everybody's running out of good bourbon these days.
Doesn't it seem like it?
Well, I mean, they are. I mean, there's almost nobody still putting out 10-plus-year-old MGP unless they had old stock.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, but the thing about it is there's no old stock, and you beat me to the punch.
Well, I mean, some people bought the stock before and been aging it themselves.
Exactly, but they did that how many years ago, and how many bottles do you want to make with that 10-year-old plus
Well, but,
MGP?
as long as you keep buying it and you keep slowly putting it out, you can kind of, you can keep a supply chain going. I mean, if you buy 6-year-old MGP and you will hold it for 4 years and you just keep cycling like that, eventually you're in a pretty good place. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot right now. I mean, that's gone. Those 15-year Jim Beam barrels that were showing up, those are gone. So now you're down to Barton. And honestly, I like the 12, 13, 14-year-old Bartons. Don't get me wrong, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
They don't lend themselves to really cool and interesting blends.
Okay.
They just don't. And what's worse is now everybody's going and sourcing younger Heaven Hill stuff. And I hate 6-year Heaven Hill. I hate 6-year Heaven Hill.
Yeah. Who was I just talking to? It could have been 2 weeks ago, but
case in point, they
pretty much made the same comment. Four-gate?
This is a 4-gate. Really cool casking. And it's a mixture of, I believe, 11-year-old, most likely Barton, and like 6, 7-year-old Heaven Hill. And the Heaven Hill just ruins this whiskey.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but I don't think Heaven Hill does well at cast strength. I think that's one of their problems when they're at those younger ages. And I know everybody says the sweet spot's 6 to 11 or whatever it is, but not for me. Not for $200 bourbons. I'm sorry, but if you're doing premium high end stuff,
yeah, I agree.
You need that 10-year plus age statement. You really do.
Oh, I agree. And for me, I like things in a bourbon that's at least 100 proof. That's, for some reason, for me, is the spot that I like. If it's 105, 110, I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. But when I look for things, it's 100 proof. So bottled and bond, basically up. However, that being said, the Smoke Wagon straight bourbon at like 92 or 93 proof. Mm-hmm. Damn, to me, it's good. It's a great everyday drinker for $35.
See here,
great everyday drinker. Great.
I didn't have their entry level, but I had the one that was below the uncut, unfiltered.
Oh, small batch.
Yeah, and that was fine. Now, it wasn't fine because I paid a lot more than it was worth. But for what I paid, it was shit. But had I paid, I think 50 is what those go for.
What was that? I didn't hear you.
I said those go for like 50, right?
Yeah. I was like, here I pay about 45. Yeah.
Yeah, so I paid 100 for mine, not knowing that the going rate was 50.
Yeah.
And it was from a store that doesn't mark up. But I was talking to the guy and he said, yeah, the problem is on those, we didn't get them through normal distribution.
Mm.
So they had to actually pay a premium to get it in because Smoke Wagon wasn't distributing to Kentucky at the time.
They're still not distributing to Florida and a few others. I can't remember if I know Florida because of Cheech.
Yeah, they are now officially in Kentucky, it appears, but they are heavily leveraging. If you don't buy their vodka, you don't get their bourbon. So I actually have a bottle of their vodka, which I'm going to have to do something with. Maybe I can find somebody who likes vodka and give it to them.
Yeah, vodka sucks.
It's a really cool bottle. I mean,
it is. Bottle, well, it's this bottle, but clear.
Well, but also, it's also got it's got like the fake Morgan silver dollar as the emblem instead of like that little patch.
Yeah,
that's silver. The Morgan silver dollar just makes the whole thing look cool to me.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying it's this bottle, but it's just
But again, like I'm a big fan of coins and stuff too. So seeing like the Morgan dollar on there was just like, oh, that's cool.
So you're saying you're a numismatist? Yeah. Let me try to say
that. I don't think I would meet those standards.
But yeah, I collect coins. I collect silver in 1 ounce bars and so on and so forth. But you're right.
It's been one of the worst investments for the last like 30 years.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm fortunate when I bought it.
Eventually.
I buy a lot of coin, and I haven't for a while. But when I was buying silver, it was $10-12 an ounce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
20 now.
I don't know, but yes, I think it is.
Yeah. Silver's definitely not been you'd have been way better off with Bitcoin.
You know, I never got into that, but my nephew has.
I tell you what,
he's done well.
I was at a conference. That's what I was gone this whole week, and one of the sessions was like on the use of Bitcoin in the treasury market, and I adamantly disagree with the idea that Bitcoin has any place in a treasury department. But the guy kept saying it's 1994, and this is the start of the internet. Are you going to be on the ship or not? And his company has something like 4.7 billion in unrealized gains off of Bitcoin. They've been buying it since like 13,000.
It's amazing.
Like, are you a tech company or are you just a Bitcoin holding company?
Yeah, I don't know enough about it, but like I said, my nephew has purchased some, and long and short of it is he's made a few bucks off of it, and bought another house. So good for him.
Yeah. I gotta stop buying whiskey and start investing. It's I mean, I guess I could stop opening whiskey and I could call it an investment, but I tell you what, if all the whiskey I bought in the last 2 years I just had unopened, I could sell it for such an insane profit.
Right now? Oh yeah, especially with even prices 2 years ago versus now.
I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Scotch, bourbon, Irish. It's all worth so much more than I paid now.
Yeah.
It's just stupid what I could flip what I've purchased over the last couple of years for. I mean, I'd probably be looking at $150,000 profit. Just insane.
Oh yeah.
That won't quite get me a house I'd want to live in, but if you get me a rental property.
Oh. Well, and that's what he has. That's what my nephew has. He has a couple houses and he rents them.
Yeah. That's where you want to be, man. That's where you want to be.
Man, I think he's 25.
Geez, good for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's done well. I call him the miser of the family, though. Some things he'll drop money on and not think twice, and other things I'm like, what are you waiting for? Buy it. Well, I go, you make no sense to me, but it's your money. You do what you want.
That's what it always comes down to. Everybody's got things that they're frugal about, and they got things that they just throw money at. That's what it is.
Cars for him. He'll drop money on cars like nobody's business. But when you tell him to do A or B, he looks at you funny, but he'll call my dad and talk about cars, and my dad will give him, an idea and say, I wouldn't pay more than this for that, and blah 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 blah. And he goes and does something totally different, but it's fine. It's his money.
Exactly.
He's an actual stone mason, so
Hmm.
he's very talented, very talented. Um, and so he has his own business and he works for himself, and so he's good at what he does. He's really good at what he does. I've seen some of his work, and I'm like, wow. I
Hey,
go,
that's great, man.
yeah, and he likes it. He's thinking about heading down to Florida and living. I said, beach shoveling snow back east. And I says, and you can pretty much work all year long. Where now you're getting into the time where unless you have some inside work and you're doing stonework on a fireplace or something like that, you're not going to be doing a lot of outside work.
Gives him time to look for real estate investments.
But his
day trade Bitcoin.
I think it's called Sanibel Island or something like that down there in Florida. Anyway, that's where his mom's building a house.
Yeah, and the problem you run into though, if you move to places like that, is then if you want most of the money in this country is in the Northeast or on the West Coast.
Yeah,
if you want to sell to those people, that's a brutal shipping cost.
Whew.
And a lot harder to market yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So there's good and bad depending on where you live.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
God, I was at this finance conference, and I was talking to this guy, and I looked down, and we're having drinks, and I looked down, and he's wearing a solid gold Rolex Daytona. And I was just
not knowing what that is. Yeah.
Oh no! We're talking, and I was like, dude, is that a Daytona? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, it's my pride and joy. He goes, man, I paid $30,000 for this. These sell for $90 now. I'm just like, yep.
Yep, I know.
I'm like, you are literally wearing a solid slab of gold on your wrist. That is ridiculous.
Literally.
Yeah,
that's a solid gold bracelet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that is ostentatious as hell, but hey, good for you, man.
Oh.
And then his wife was with him. His wife was with him. She was actually the reason he was at the conference. He went to the conference just to hang out, be with her. So they dropped like $2,000 for him to be at the conference.
Wow. Well,
plus hotel and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, why is she even working?
You've
got a year of her salary on your wrist.
I have an uncle in over on that side of the world, and he's 70. I'm going to say mid 70s, just for sake of argument. Mm-hmm. And he just won't retire. He won't sell his business or anything like that. He likes it. I think he's getting closer to it now that he hits that magical 70 number. But, my aunt's been wanting him to retire for 10 years.
I think on average, guys die within 5 years of retirement. So you want to die?
Oh, I don't think he thinks that, but you're right. That the laws of averages aren't with us, but
I've had people tell me they're not retiring for that very reason, though. So it's a real thing people think about.
He's been in insurance as long as I've known him, and he's done well, and they're fine. They live in Brentwood, Tennessee, and a guy named I don't know if you ever heard of him, but Dave Ramsey.
No, of course.
Yeah. Well, he lived around the corner from them. Now he doesn't live in that same area. He built another house, but I used to see him jog down the street when I'd go to visit, and my aunt would tell me who he is, and I would just shrug my shoulders. This is in the 90s. Yeah, who? Who? Yeah, Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, he definitely is a guy who became very famous for telling people to just simply suffer through and hate life. Like, that guy took it to an extreme. I mean, yeah, sure, it'll work, but I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing he'd tell us all is, this is too much money for whiskey. It's 60 bucks.
What?
Man.
$60? Heck no.
Dave Ramsey's like, wow, do you have $1 million in the bank? Why are you spending money?
Yeah.
Have you heard of
True.
ramen noodles?
True. But I mean, it's like, no, $60. That's a good price. If you can find a good bottle for $60 and it's actually good, yeah, you want to buy a backup.
And he's sitting there going, wait, you want good whiskey? No, 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 no. Whiskey's a luxury. You can't drink.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you put your 10% into this, your 5% into that? Like, bruh, for the first 10 years of most people's career, they don't have 10%, let alone 15% or 30% to put away.
And you know what, though? It's true. And I will say this. I've told people to actually listen to his who are young. When I say young, in their 20s and starting out. And I go, you may not be able to do the 10 or 15%, but if you can at least do 6 and your company matches 3, 4%, whatever it is in your 401, you at least need to do that.
You should do that for sure. But I mean, he's talking about like, okay, max out your 401k, then put 10% into savings, then put 5% into a rainy day.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, dude.
At 25, 26 years old, yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah, you're making 40 grand. It costs you $1,000 to just survive. And and you're 40 grand, you're only actually taking home what, 26?
Shit, I don't think when we were
$2K a month. I mean,
I don't think when we were 25 that was the pay. I'm trying to think.
I'm thinking just current day market 25. I mean, if you're making 60 at 25, you're doing really well. It might be hard right now because the market's so
true.
Good.
Oh, now it is. I mean, it is. I mean, I'm one of the people though that
put in the max on your 401k and then put another 15% aside. I mean, it's just come on.
Oh, God, what's max? You could put it. Was it? Well, depending upon your salary, just for the sake of argument, 50, 60,000 a year. But
I think the max is something like 25% of your salary.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it depends on what your salary is, but I'm one of those people.
We're saying 40% of your salary you're putting away. Like you can't live on that.
Well, that's when you have a sugar mama or a wife that takes care of you.
I think you're supposed to put her money in too.
What? You got to have money for whiskey.
Now, if it's sugar mama, you're okay, I guess. If it's just sugar mama, you're good. I think Dave supports taking advantage of sugar mamas, but
yeah, now you got to have money for whiskey. But like I said, I can't remember back in the late 80s. What was I making? Maybe $5 an hour turning wrenches and going to school. Maybe. Yeah. To tell me to put 10%, 20% away. Even though my dad kept saying, just $100 a month, just $100 a month.
That's a lot of money depending on where you're at.
Oh, well, I was in Erie, Pennsylvania.
I meant salary-wise, but...
Yeah, but you know what I'm just saying. So I was in that part of the world back then.
Yeah, I mean, my first job out of college, I took a job as a teller, making $10 an hour. After 90 days, they gave me 11. A month later, I got an opportunity to go into the accounting department. That got me up to 12. And then I very slowly got up to like $16 an hour over the next couple of years. But the whole recession hit. Mm-hmm. We went a year without giving raises. All this stuff went on. So I'm like, 26, 27, making like $33,000 a year.
Yeah.
With a bachelor's degree.
Exactly.
And that was 2010, 2011. I mean, we're not talking that long ago.
Well, my wife, when we moved here to Vegas, my wife got her first, well, she's had a teaching job, but when we came out here, I think starting salary for a teacher might have been 25 in 98.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to say 8 years ago, roughly, I took my job in Cincinnati. They bumped me up to like 42,000 a year. And I was just like, oh my God, this is life changing. And again, that's 8 years ago. We're not talking 20.
Yeah.
And then, I got lucky there. I got 90 days. They gave me a really, really nice raise. They bumped me up to 40.
And that's all that counts. If they feel you're worth it and they go, yeah, we got it. We need to keep this guy and that's what a lot of companies don't look at anymore is, well, wait a minute. You've invested time and money in this person.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to retain your talent because it actually costs you more when you have turnover every 2 to 3 years within a department. Because I was in HR, I'm kind of privy to a turnover in department, and we always kept track of it. And well, why are they turning over? Why are they turning over? So then you start reaching out to other companies that do the same thing. What are you paying? What are your benefits? Or what is this? What is that? To see if you're at least competitive, because if they're leaving because of 50 cents an hour, it's worth giving them the 50 cents because you know what it costs to train an employee. And just like when it comes to whiskey, there's a cost from grain to distilling to barreling to bottling, that if you can control those costs better, then it's better for your bottom line. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, the problem you run into that with HR, and I mean, this is not a one company or two company issue. This is a global issue you run into. Is at the end of the year, HR is going to look at who you've got there. They're going to say, all right, well, you got this guy at this level, and he's making this price, and now you want to hire somebody else at the same level, and you want to give them how much more? And then your response is, well, the person we've got is underpaid. We want him to come up. Well, we can't really do that right now. We don't have the budget. And it's like,
oh yeah,
if we lose this person, it's on your ass, not ours.
Well, that's how I lost my job, is they just decided to cut. And, everyone I've talked to, their jaw dropped and they go, well, how do they do that when you were the only person that does what you do and blah, 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 blah. And I go, it's just a dollar thing. And it's not that they weren't making money. They were making money hand over fist at the time. As a matter of fact, we were getting busier and busier and busier and busier. They just made a business decision to totally eliminate my position, which was fine.
It happens.
Yeah. And you know what? I've taken a huge pay cut to work for the school district, but now I don't have an electronic leash. I do my 8 and I hit the gate, and the only thing I do is what they tell me. And you know what? I'm fine with it.
There you
go. I mean, I know it sounds terrible. I'll move eventually into something else, but I just got to get through my probation. But you know what? I don't have any, I have somebody to answer to, but what I just mean is I'm not responsible directly or indirectly for employees anymore. I don't have to, I don't have to keep looking at my phone and reading my emails or texts, or, it doesn't go off at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and somebody telling me about a problem and I have to come into work. That doesn't happen. And you know what? I like that.
That's a good thing, man, for sure.
And so, you get to the point, and like I said, it was the pandemic that pushed people to do some of this stuff, as you just rethink things and you go, what's more important, A or B? And for me, it was my quality of life.
I think a lot of people have done that. I was actually at a round table this week talking about, kind of career advancement within sort of the corporate finance world. And it was interesting. Some of the conversations we had, but one thing is, look, some people just want to be worker bees, and that's okay. You can't target that every employee you hire is going to be fighting for the CFO role. That doesn't work.
It doesn't. And you need to recognize those employees that want to be in that worker bee role and are still with you 3, 5, 7, 10 years down the road.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lose that. They know their job. They know what needs to be done, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? They just, boom. And I saw that. But, this pandemic made a lot of companies do things that they wouldn't do, which I understood. Even I got furloughed, which I was great and fine with that. I was enjoying that 2 months off. But when they called me back, I went back to work at 25% less. Because they said, we want you back, but this is the job. It hasn't changed, but your pay changed if you want to work. Fine. What are you going to do? I mean, you could say no. And at
Collect
that time, you
unemployment for a
could
while,
and
yes.
still collect unemployment and that extra, what was it, 500, 600, 700, I don't remember what the hell it
600
was.
for a while there. I know that.
Yeah, 600. And been fine with it. But that wasn't me. Okay, I'm going back to work. And so I always said I was underneath the ammunition wagon where the bullets were the thickest. And then, March of this year, they just decided, yeah, we don't need your department anymore. Which was, like I said, it was a shock at first. I mean, it always is. Your jaw drops and you go, you do know that I'm the health and safety officer, right? It's a pandemic. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm good.
That seems like an important position.
Yeah. But anyway, so which pushed me to where I'm at. And the only reason why I did what I did, one, because I just didn't want to be the boss anymore. And if I wanted to be the boss, you're going to pay me. And I had interviews to go to other properties, but they were all, let me just use the term nickel and diming, Dustin. And they took positions from one level and moved them or demoted them to another level so they didn't have to pay those, but the responsibility didn't change. I mean, so do you want the responsibility of 10,000 employees for 60,000 a year? No.
Probably not.
No. I want this and I want the bonus. Well, they're like, well, we're not doing that. And I go, well, then I'm not coming because my back isn't against the wall. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do it.
It's interesting. I mean, a lot of companies are having to come, their quote unquote come to Jesus moment on.
Yes.
Guess what, guys? People aren't going to work for you if you don't pay them anymore.
Yeah.
And right now, honestly, I mean, if you're in the job market, this is the best time you've ever been to be in the job market. If you want more money,
well, I turned down a contract job just recently, doing some stuff, but let me just say this. It was very labor intensive on my part. And I knew what needed to be done, which wasn't a problem. It's just that with the stuff that I have going on and my wife has a few medical issues, it just wasn't the right time. But I could have made a great chunk of change to throw in the bank, but the timing wasn't good for me.
Yeah, it all matters.
And so the company that I talked to, I know, like I'm talking to you right now, I said, look, keep me in mind for something in the future, but just right now it's not. And so this was the second time they reached out to me and said, hey, can you help us out and do this project? We'll give you we'll pay you on a 1099, which was fine with me. But I just didn't have the time to dedicate to it and then go to work on my job that I have now. So, and I knew what demands would happen. I was like, it's just not a good time. Would love to have made the extra money. It'd have been a lot of work, but it wouldn't have been difficult other than the time. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm getting I haven't gotten a call from a serious recruiter in some time. I've gotten email spam, BS.
Oh God, yes, I got that for years.
Yeah, but I haven't gotten legitimate. And put in a lot of effort to kind of make my resume and my media kind of thing disappear because I'm like, nah, I'm good, I'm happy, I don't want to deal with it.
And that's what I did for a while.
In the last 2 weeks, I've gotten multiple calls for legit offers where I'm like, whoa, you guys are, and they're like, it's all remote now. I mean, it's just,
oh yeah.
And that's really changing things because now you're getting calls from hey, I'm actually out of Tampa Bay, Florida.
Yeah.
Got a client, they want somebody with this background. Your resume fits. I'm like, boy, you're going right at my resume here. I get it. Old resume, but still, exactly. What are your thoughts? And I'm just like, I'm really not in the market right now, but thanks. I'm like, wow. I mean, they're digging through the old resumes now.
Exactly. I'm going to fill up my water glass. I'll be right back. Hold the fort.
Yep. I think. Well, no, we got 3 people watching, so somebody's lurking. Ken, you still working and jerking over there? Chris is in the import-export business over there in Australia for whiskey, apparently. I got to tell you what, Ken, that Daytona was impressive in person. I'm not a giant Daytona fan by any stretch, but just seeing that solid, freaking ridiculous gold band was just, oh my God. Oh, Chris, you're still here? Okay, I guess Neophyte's maybe not on. Maybe Neophyte's not on, so we're the 3. I don't think I could pull off a Daytona. I don't think I've got the skin complexion for solid rose gold, but impressive watch. Just, for the wrong reasons. Well, that's interesting. So we got 4 people watching because I'm on here too. It only says 3 people are watching. Well, YouTube is clearly lying.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. It was sitting behind my microphone, but cleaned up something else before I forgot.
Just realized there was a new Curb Your Enthusiasm this week, I think. Oh, and the new season of Dexter just came out. I'm going to have to do a little TV catch-up.
Who is it? Oh, Dexter?
Yeah. I'm not sure what to think about them bringing that show back, but the way they ended it, they certainly set themselves up to have the opportunity. That's for sure. I've kind of gotten out of the game of watching TV shows, so I kind of need to sneak back in a little bit.
Yeah. I may watch our morning news in the morning, and that's it, just so I get the weather and what's happened, and I move on.
Yeah, well, I find myself just like watching whatever's on Netflix. Like when I'm, downtime, even if it's not that interesting, I'll just kind of throw it up there. But it's which is fine. Netflix is fine, but there is other stuff out there, and it's.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it used to be there was a lot of value in keeping up to date with what everybody's watching and talking about. But now, we're no longer in the office. There's no longer that communication. We're like, oh, yeah, it's something to talk about. Like, I realized I just quit watching football. Like, I love basketball. I still watch basketball, but I don't watch football anymore because I was watching it mostly just as a social thing to talk about with coworkers.
I can say that I don't think I have watched a full game this year when it comes to football. I don't think I've watched it.
I don't think I've watched a full game of football since the pandemic.
I don't even think I watched a full game last year. Now that you bring it to my attention,
I may have watched the whole Super Bowl. I may have watched the Super Bowl last year in full. I think I might have done that. So I watched one game.
What I'll find myself more or less doing is looking at different whiskey tube channels or I hate to say hunting, but going out hunting different bottles or just hitting different bottle shops here between north and south and east and west. And I don't do it, daily, but once every so often, let's go for a ride, honey, and jump in the car and just for different whiskeys and so on and so forth. And I don't care about TV shows in general. And like you said, with Netflix and Hulu or Amazon Prime, and you can see a lot of things, and catch up on things within a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been years since I actually it was funny. I mean, back even in college, we're talking we're going back to 2007 maybe. I remember I had cable. I watched a lot of TV shows that came on cable. I downloaded every single one of them. I did not watch a single thing on my TV. I remember thinking to myself, why am I paying for this service here? The only part that made me feel good was well, I'm not really stealing. I pay for cable. They just don't put shows on when I want to watch them.
Exactly.
And then they put ads in them, which why would I want to watch an ad?
It's just not that it's not when you want to watch them. It's not convenient for you because, well, I got too much stuff going on. One,
Yeah.
I'm in college. Two, I got to work. Three, I got to study.
And
so here it is, 1 a.m.
And four, my life doesn't revolve around somebody else's schedule other than my classes and work. I mean,
I totally get it. But when I went to school, we didn't have all that stuff. So,
yeah. Well, back when you went to college, it was a social thing. Everybody would get together to watch certain shows.
It was. It really was. Matter of fact, don't laugh, but we'd get together and watch Al Bundy. It was a thing. It was just a thing. Hey, it's on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And somebody bring a case of beer or something like that, and some popcorn. I know it sounds stupid, but that's what we would do. And we'd sit there and watch stuff like that. What was the other one? Beavis and Butthead. How stupid that was, but hey, we had to watch it.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead was dumb. No getting around that one. That was just a dumb show.
Oh, yeah.
But what are you going to do?
Nothing.
Yeah. It's interesting that Ken's talking about how, sometimes, his stream, it almost instantly is up and running, and then other channels take forever for their streams to, finish buffering and stuff.
I just caught a glimpse of what 60 Hertz was talking about. Yeah, I couldn't run Jim's stream at all today. And it kept showing me 2 weeks ago stream, even though I was touching the one that he did today on his trivia. So I'll have to see about that.
Yeah, YouTube's weird sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said that earlier.
Well, Chris, the thing is, there might be that stuff today, but who knows what cable's like? No one's had it for over a decade. Seriously, is there anybody over the age of 30 and under the age of 60 who actually has had cable in the last decade? All four of you?
I haven't. I had my cable disconnected a few years ago, only for the plain simple reason I'm spending $200 a month to watch television and surf the web, and I'm not watching but 3 or 4 channels. I put an antenna on the roof, or you've got an antenna rather, and there you go. I'm good. Yeah. Everything else is streamed.
Yeah, well, on top of that, the other thing is cable TV is a horrible format for watching video. TVs are a terrible format for watching video unless you are in a dark room, on the couch, in silence. If you're doing other things, I want it on my computer screen. And I want my keyboard connected to it, so if I want to skip over something, I can just tap the forward button 2 times. I want to be able to hit the space bar real quick and pause it. I don't want to look for a stupid remote where I got to push weird buttons that don't work well. I want a proper setup. If I want to change the sound, the volume, it should be easier and also more nuanced than the remote control. The whole entire cable format is just a absolutely failed system, from the remote to the TV to the box. It's terrible all across the line. It's just a terrible format, and they want a lot of money for a system that just doesn't work.
I agree. I agree with it 100%.
And yeah, and again, they have been outdated and inferior product for over a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gotten faster and easier to quote unquote pirate it. But they've made pirating just such a better format where even again, I actually technically pay for cable right now. I literally am paying for cable. I don't own a TV. My cable box is literally in the original plastic. But
Yeah.
because I moved into this place, it was a requirement you have to have cable. So, all right. Yeah, but I mean,
Why?
you can just everything you can do on the internet, man. Like that's the thing. I've got a 43-inch monitor sitting in front of me. I got a 24-inch monitor next to it.
Yeah.
I can go sit on my couch, watch the 43-inch monitor. If I wanted to, you could buy a TV and connect it, but honestly, 43 is good enough for me. I know some people are,
Yeah.
they need the 72-inch thing. If I had a great room or something, I guess I'd need a bigger monitor.
Well,
Or
if
TV.
you had that, you need to sit back so far because I have a larger television like that, and you got to be about 6, 8 feet back to really appreciate it. And if
Well,
you
you start
don't have
getting
the
into the
room where you
70s.
are,
If you get into the 70s, I mean, you gotta be back.
yeah, exactly. And it's just not there.
Yeah,
I
Mike
mean,
and I always will talk about it. It's like if you go, Mike, we do our videos and stuff.
mm-hmm.
He has a very large room. Like his main room is just huge. It's got the vaulted ceilings because the upstairs is tiny comparatively, and he's got this huge wall where his TV sits. And I mean, the room's not like ginormous, where like it's depth, but it feels big. It feels like a huge room. And people will look at it and go, "Why don't you get a bigger TV, man? You've got all this space." And he's like, "I don't need a bigger TV. It's like the viewing experience is just perfect from where I'm at." Like he goes,
I'm
like,
not a
"There's
I'm
like
not a
just
real
don't need."
video file or audio file, but I do like my entertainment system. It's an older Polk audio and so on and so forth, but when I want to listen to something or I want to play a movie with 3D and all that happy horse shit, I got it. One
You actually
button,
have like a
boom,
3D
boom.
TV where you put the glasses on and everything.
Yes, I'm waiting for them to get rid of those glasses. I like them, but it's annoying.
I won't do 3D glasses.
Yeah,
I won't do
I
it.
can't tell you the last time I've done them. It's been years.
It honestly, it was one of those things. It was kind of fun, like the 2 movies I saw with those things on, and then every time since then that someone's been like, "Hey, you want to go watch this?" And I'm like,
No,
"Nah, not really. I don't want to wear glasses for
2 hours, 3 hours.
3 hours. Yeah, it's 3 hours these days for movies." I'm like, that doesn't seem comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I'm like, yeah, I get the idea and it's cool, but that's just not comfortable. And honestly, the advantages weren't that great for most movies, like live action movies. I don't think there's really any good benefit. Now, if you're watching
Mm-hmm.
like what was that movie with the blue people? It was Fern Gully, but it wasn't.
Not Avatar.
Yes, Avatar.
Okay.
Like that, the 3D experience was pretty cool. Like totally, that was worth seeing in 3D. That was pretty cool.
Well, I have it. I mean, I have it here, and that's one of the things we watched in it. And yeah, it was. But you know what? I can't honestly cannot tell you the last time I watched something in 3D.
I would only do 3D in the theater. I wouldn't do it at home. The theater where you've got like the most ridiculous sound and the screen is the size of the wall. The 3D is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because it really feels like you're there.
For home, I just want a clear, sharp screen. I want good blacks that are black. I'm happy.
Yep.
Honestly, 720p, perfect for me. I don't need 1080 even. And I certainly
let me think. All mine now are 1080. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I don't have any more that. I do have a few TV/monitors. Matter of fact, one's here. It's The
Well, I meant the
720.
video quality. I know, I've got a 4K screen in front of me, but most of the video I watch on it is 720, and
Yeah.
it looks fine to me. Yes, I can tell there's a difference, and no, I'm not
Yes.
oblivious. And yeah, the
Yeah.
4K looks pretty cool too. But honestly,
Right now, just Dustin, there's not much stuff out there in 4K still, even in DVDs and so on and so forth. It's getting there, but even go back 5 years ago when they're selling those TVs for $6,000-7,000, there was in 4K. It
unless you're
looked
playing
beautiful.
unless you're playing video games, I don't know what the point of 4K is really.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I'm not into that anymore. I mean, I had my PS3 years ago, and Nintendo and Xbox, but I still have the PS3 around here somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I stopped playing video games with the PlayStation 1.
Yep, there you go.
I
There you
had
go.
stuff going on. I mean, I played a few computer games after that. Don't get me wrong. I didn't stop playing any
I
games.
bought the PS3 because it already had a Blu-ray player built in,
Yep.
and I said, "Win-win. I can play games and do that." So that's how long ago I got that, and it's still just sitting.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I can't remember the last time I watched a movie on a disc. I've got hundreds of DVDs in the other room. If I wanted to watch one of those, I would probably just download it because it'd take me longer. It'd take me longer to go pull the DVD out of a box than it would for me to download it and watch.
Oh yeah. So 60 Hertz made me laugh. He got the last Panasonic Plasma.
Plasma TVs were awesome, man. The only problem with those things is they're hot as hell and they just burn electricity.
Oh yeah.
But they're gorgeous.
But they had a good picture. They really did have a good picture in there. And you didn't have the blur. At least I never saw them.
I think when those things went bad, they went bad. But I didn't really hear
about
a lot of people.
There was no in between. There was no in between.
But yeah, I mean, everybody I've known who's bought a plasmas was happy with it. Most of them still use them. I mean, you don't have to replace them.
I had the Mitsubishi Diamond series and the DLP that had the projector.
Okay.
Holy smokes, was that thing amazing. But I had to have a guy come out, take the screen off, take things apart just to clean it, because it's like, man, what has happened to the picture? But once they took it all apart, cleaned it, replaced the bulb, and so on and so forth, it's like, oh man, it was amazing. Amazing.
I'll tell you what was the best picture for a long time that everybody kind of forgets about, but when they first went to HD, they were still using CRTs. But those early HD CRTs were absolutely crystal clear, sharp as hell. That they probably didn't get much bigger than 36 inches, but those things were incredible. The only problem with them was, they weighed 400 pounds for a 36 inch. Like you needed 3 guys to move one of those things.
And a boy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were
3 men and a boy.
Ridiculously heavy. Like if you thought CRTs were heavy, you have no idea until you picked up one of those HD ones. You're just like, holy God. But the picture on those, once you got them in place, was just, I'm not even sure if we have obviously better images now today. I mean, they were so good. Not as high resolution today, but the image was just perfect.
My Samsung was one of the best TVs I ever had. The Sony Trinitron, I can tell you that was a nice picture. I had a friend had one, and we watched a few football games on that.
Yeah. The last TV I owned was a 19-inch CRT that had a built-in VHS player.
Hey.
And that may be the last TV I ever owned, because I don't think I'm ever going to own another TV.
No. Anymore, it's just not. Even the monitors on your laptops are better than most TVs.
They're incredible. But I mean, honestly, I'll probably just, next time I buy a monitor, I'll buy a professional grade 43-inch.
Mm-hmm.
This is a decent 43-inch monitor. It does the job, but it's not the professional grade. I might just go to the professional grade. Those are expensive. They cost more than a TV does.
Oh, yeah.
But I just don't see ever going to like a dedicated television because the image isn't quite as good as a monitor.
Nope.
They have a risk of burn if you use them as a monitor.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, conversation's over.
Yep. That's pretty much right.
I'll tell you, man. A couple years back, I got one of the Dell XPSs. Like when they first launched their 4K series. Oh my god, that thing was ridiculous. And it was funny. I was in an office where all the guys had the Retina display on their iMac laptops. Our software team was all Apple, and our business team was all Dell. And I was doing something on my computer. And one of the software guys walks by and looks over, and he goes, "Your screen's better than mine." And I said, "I know, it's not an Apple." And he goes, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You got a Retina. I mean, that's old technology. You guys need to move into the future." He looks at me like, "What are you talking about?
Excuse me.
What are you talking about?"
Excuse me.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, no, I just knew I was going to sneeze, and I was like, is it going to come? And it did.
But yeah, Chris, I mean, yeah, the iPad screens are excellent nowadays. I mean, your cell phone screens are now, I mean, Jesus, those things are ridiculous. Especially if you buy like the high end, you get one of the high end, you know, like the Samsung, like the big ones that are like huge. I mean, those screens are just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, I mean, the thing is, I mean, again, when you want big screens, the quality always is the issue, and you have to kind of pick and choose. But man,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Without a doubt. You're absolutely correct.
yeah, I still haven't quite figured out when I would ever use a pad, so I've not bought one. But they seem like a cool thing, but I just can't envision when I'd use it.
That's one of the things I'm looking at once I get all this boxes unpacked and I get my office and stuff all set back up to do this stuff. We're getting there, but it's just a process. It's, we pretty much moved out of the house in July, and then now everything is coming back, and you've got boxes stacked almost to the ceiling in different areas. And it's like, okay, before we put it back, let's do this, let's do that. So one of the things is I want to get a couple of monitors to put on the desk so that when I'm doing stuff like this, the chat and other things are here and here.
Yep.
The camera itself is there, and then basically this. And so without really having to move, I could see what's going on here and I could see what's going on there. And so I tried a design like that a little while ago on just some 20-inch LED TV / monitors. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's going to work. But just having those two screens plus this is like, oh, yeah, that's way better. And I mean, literally just with my head the way it is, I could see what's going on here and I could see what's going on there. But of course, when you get a lot of things going on, you got to rely on your moderators. But
sure.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want. It's like, yeah, I'm going to get the arms so I can articulate the monitors and put them right exactly where I need them with the camera dead center. So
yeah, there you go, man. I mean,
well,
and then like for me with the iPad thing is like I always I got my laptop. And the thing is, the laptop, it like you set it wherever you want it to be, and then you can pull the screen up, you can tilt and angle it.
Oh yeah,
Whereas
that's what I'm using right now.
The pads, I know you can buy like peripheral stuff to kind of set them on and connect them, but it's just like the laptop it already has all that built in, and so I haven't found myself a use case yet for the pads, unless I guess maybe ebook reading. That might be like the piece I haven't really looked into, but I don't read enough for that, I guess. So
Yeah.
And then, I mean, my understanding is the Kindle is really the better reader if you want it because it's got like that like magnetic ink that's just easier on the eyes. So
I used to have the Nook. I had to think
exactly.
of what it was called. Loved that thing. I mean, it's not like I was on it daily, but there's something about it that when you looked at it,
Hmm.
that print was just so bold and great. And a few years ago, I realized, where is that thing? It just, I don't know if I left it somewhere or what, but I haven't found it. I've
It
got the
happens.
charger. I got the charger, and I
That's
think I
usually
just,
people lose.
yeah, I just chucked it. But um, I just like that. But those iPads, like you were saying, your iPhone or your Samsung phone, holy smokes, the image quality you're getting is amazing.
Oh, those
And
are iPads. I mean, like the
some of the bottle
professional one
shots
I've
I've
got is
done,
crazy.
in different look, I've just used my iPhone. Boom. And
The iPhone's a great
posted
camera
them.
as long as you're taking photos of something within like 5 feet of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're taking photos of stuff that's further away, or you're trying to get like
Yeah.
I mean, they're garbage.
Yeah.
But if you're just taking
You
a
get,
shot of something close, it's I mean, God, it's
it's magnificent, basically. Yeah.
the
Exactly.
technology, like the tech. I mean, I know what was impressive was Google when they first came out with their Pixel. It was one of the lowest like resolution like pixel like smartphones out there in the premium segment. But the technology and software they had, the images just came out. I mean, they blew everybody out of the water. That they put Apple and Samsung like on notice. And I think since then, Apple and Samsung have kind of come back and been like,
Oh, yeah.
hold
They're
up,
not going to be outdone.
hold up. Now, mind you,
Mhm.
can they actually beat Google in the long run? No, because I mean, Google is they're the big boy in the tech game. They're
Yeah.
better than. I mean, they have more money than anybody except maybe Apple, and they're just better at everything they do than Apple. I mean,
Well,
they're
my thing is too is for Google is concentrate on one thing. Do you need to be in cell phones? Do you need to be in this? Do you need to be in that? Do what you've been doing and just be the best.
well,
Yes, companies need to diversify. I got that. But I don't know if that's the right venue for them.
but I
But they
mean,
pay people a lot of money to figure
again,
that out.
they're the number one cell phone operating system producer in the world.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they are.
I mean, so the search engine they dominate. They're the operating system. They already have the operating system. Why wouldn't they sell the hardware?
Yeah. I know.
If you,
I
if you look at
totally get
Apple
what
and look
you're
what
saying.
they've done, I mean, essentially, Apple was a hardware company that decided to get into the software side. Been super successful with it, and I think Google just takes a very different approach. Google said, "Look, we're going to be." Apple wants to create this closed off, pretentious, elitist market. Whereas Google goes, no, we're going to be open source. We're going to produce for the people. And I mean, two different models. I don't think one's right or wrong.
Yeah, exactly. You got to
We
have a business plan. So
and you need a
do
monster in
something.
the game who's willing. And I don't know, everything Google has done for the most part has just been so much has benefited people more than any other company I can think of. Like their approach is always, what's best for people? We'll figure out how to make money later. Like, do you remember when Gmail first came out?
Hmm.
Do you remember
Yeah,
how
I didn't
ridiculous
have a
it was?
Gmail account until a year ago. I was like, I am not having any more email accounts. I am not.
But do you remember when it first came out? Like how shocking it was. A gigabyte of email space. Back in the
Huh.
days when like most places were giving you like 20 megs. And they said, how about we give you a freaking gigabyte?
You'll never fill it up.
Yeah,
So remember that.
this is going to be your lifetime email thing. I mean, it was just like, holy crap. And again, I think people greatly benefited because they finally had an email like that was forever.
Oh yeah. Oh,
This
yeah.
is the email address that you're going to be able to, in 10 years, you're going to go find that email from your grandmother, your grandfather, after they've passed away and, relive those memories.
I remember in the 90s, people asked me, hey, what's your email address? I'd say, I don't have one. I don't have one. And they'd look at you. Yeah, I don't have an email. Call me or send me a letter. Yeah. Call me or send me a letter. Other than that, have a nice day.
Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
Seinfeld? Yeah.
Yeah. Remember Kramer trying to quit the post office?
Kramer? Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I have email. And then Newman brings in the back. Look, we can't let you do this. You can't leave the post office. He goes,
Newman.
Email's not going to last. It's a fad. And Kramer's just like, no, I'm good. I want to quit the post office.
I forgot about him. I actually have a friend whose last name is that. And so I actually
nice.
tease him about it. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just such a classic. Just classic. I mean, those were the days.
Yes, they were. So I wonder what time Ken's coming on. I know he'll be on in a few hours. I didn't see it yet on YouTube. Not changing the subject, but
yeah, Kid might be taking the day off. I know he's been on the last couple.
No, he should have a thumbnail up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he should have a thumbnail.
I haven't been able to watch him for the last couple of days. I've been traveling. I'd hop on, but like yesterday, I was trying to listen to him in the airport, and I've like got the speaker like up to my ear, trying to overpower the. And I'm like, I need earbuds, but I didn't have any on me. And
yeah.
Nowadays, in the airport, the only earbuds they sell are those wireless ones.
Yeah. You know what? If you got a pair at home, you don't need 2 or 3 pair. Trust me.
Well, I don't like wireless.
Oh, he said 2 hours.
These are my wireless headphones.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
These are comfortable. They don't go inside my ear. And I'm not going to lose them.
No. I lost my iPods. The earpods, rather. I know they're in here somewhere. I just
those things will fall out when people are walking. They had a thing where they were showing like under the subway tracks all the AirPods that are down there.
Really?
Yeah.
I need it. Well,
people get bumped into. They fall out while they're like getting on and off the tracks.
Well, that case they come in, that plastic case, is synonymous to that earpod.
Mm-hmm.
So if you lose it, you have to call them. They have to basically make you another case and then send it, because you just can't get one. Like my wife can't use mine to charge hers.
Well, that's just stupid.
They're proprietary.
It
cost me $100 and some bucks.
Well, at $100 price point, you just buy a new set of earpods. They're only like $170.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's.
Well, yeah, and I've heard if you lose the one that's got the microphone in it, it's way worse than if you lose the other one. I mean, it's just like.
Yeah, but
ridiculous.
Exactly. We don't know what happened to hers, but mine, I know they're in the case. I don't know where they went to. I thought they were in my backpack that's literally right here on this chair. They'll turn up. I know they will. They weren't in the trailer, so they're going to turn up. I just put them somewhere and just don't remember. But that happens.
Yeah, see, I'm fine with the cords. If I lose one of those, I can go buy another pair for between $10 and $20.
Now I have the Bose noise canceling headphones that have a cord. I just don't have them on now, but they work great.
Yeah,
they work great. They're at least 10 years old, and they work great. I'm trying. You made me even think, where the heck are those? I know where they are because I actually touched them.
It's funny. My buddy Mike just bought a new car, so for the first time, he's got the whole Bluetooth connection for his phone in his car. And so he calls me and he's like, "So how's this sound?" I'm like, "Man, it sounds great, man. No problems." He's like, "You sure?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh man, this is gonna be weird. I don't need my earbuds in my ear while I'm driving." And I was like, "No, you don't." I'm like, "If
Yep.
anything, it probably sounds better." And he's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Mm-hmm.
You've got a giant speaker in your car that has noise canceling features built in. I mean, the whole system. And he's just like, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. And I'm like, "Yours has got to be better than mine because my car is 2015. You got a 2022. You got the latest and greatest."
Yeah. Absolutely. Latest and greatest.
And that's the beauty of, these new cars and stuff. I mean, they're just freaking, all the tech in them these days is just crazy.
Friend of mine, unfortunately, he just passed away not too long ago. But anyway, he was a few years younger than me. But anyway, he bought a new Palisade or something like that. And he says the tech in it is just phenomenal.
I believe it, man.
Phenomenal.
Every
The
new car.
integration with your phone and just everything else, he says, is absolutely phenomenal. He was our IT guy where I worked, and he was like, "Oh my gosh," he says, "I'm just in love with all this stuff that it does."
I don't know what Android Auto is that 60 Hertz is complaining about. So
Probably their CarPlay feature.
oh, interesting.
Yeah,
That's weird.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, my phone doesn't do anything special with my card. Like, it connects through Bluetooth, so I can do calls and stuff, but it doesn't connect to the infotainment center. So I'm not seeing that. But I mean, I can't imagine that Android's not going to have a product for that, because otherwise that would just be it'd be ceding like the car market to Apple, and that would be a pretty bad idea.
Oh yeah.
So if they'd have to have some kind of replacement of some sort coming.
Well, I don't know what they're doing because you either got an Apple or an Android.
Yeah, I mean, like the 3% of people have Windows phones.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them. Sorry.
Yeah.
A Windows phone, like, oh yeah, they actually still make them. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm sure as heck not going to switch over to Apple. I absolutely hate my iPhone.
See, I've had no problems. I've had an iPhone since 11. I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, eventually I'm sure you get it, but it's just everything about it is just confusing and difficult for me to use.
Well, let me just knock on wood and say, for me, excuse me, so much better. You know, what I want, it's right there. Boom, 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 boom. Not a problem. So now it's the point, though. I forget when I got it. Mine's an 8. Yeah, it's an 8. And so, believe it or not, even Apple gets to that point where they get tired and they just don't work right anymore. So,
of course,
go back in and get another one.
Yeah, I spent the last week needing my iPhone every day for work stuff, and I'm just like literally like, even their icons just look wrong. Like the send button on my email just doesn't look like a send button. I'm just like, this doesn't look like anything else I've ever seen for send.
I was just going to say, where is my phone? It's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's on the charger. I don't have it sitting here. So
it's just, I don't know. It's just every aspect of it. It's confusing to me. It's difficult. I'm trying to navigate stuff and I can't. And then when I go looking for apps, it's good and bad. If there's an app I know that exists that I need, it's easier to find on Apple. If there's an app I just know I want an app that does X, Y, Z, Apple has 4 options and they all cost money, you know? Then I get on my Android and there's 60 options. I got free ones. Now I got to do a little research, but sometimes maybe to figure out which is the best. But there's just so many more options if I want something to do something. Like, Android just kills Apple.
Oh. And, like I tell people, if that's what you like, then that's what you get. That's
I mean,
they're good phones, no matter which one you get.
The tech and everything changes day to day, week to week, who's better, who's worse.
Yep.
The other big thing is if you start needing peripheral stuff to connect to your phone, oh my God, does Apple just screw you?
Everything is proprietary with them.
Well, and the other thing is everybody in the world has moved to USB-C for powering everything, including Apple, except the iPhone. The Apple laptops, the Apple iPad Pros, everything is moved to USB-C except the iPhone. And so now I can literally charge my phone on the same charger I charge my laptop on.
Yep.
My phone can be charged on anything I own basically at this point. All my stuff, depending on if it's powerful enough, can be interchangeably powered. It's amazing. And then I've got my work iPhone, and I got to go find the iPhone charger for it. I'm like, come on, Apple. I've got a relatively new iPhone. I got 5G on it. It's not an old one.
Yeah.
But nope. So let's see here. Hertz is saying I have internet radio on my phone running through the Bluetooth module, and Android Auto will mute it automatically for calls and Google navigation. Their new solution is to turf that. So I'll be fumbling with the steering wheel buttons for sure. That's weird, man.
Yep.
I thought that's weird. I'm surprised they would do that.
Yep.
I'm sure there'll be like some aftermarket software or something that'll do that for you. Maybe they decided other people had a better solution and theirs just wasn't good enough.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I don't know. The idea of running internet radio on my phone just sounds crazy to me.
I used to do the XM/Sirius, and it worked great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could be literally in the middle of the desert. Boom. I got music, got everything I need. But like I said, I don't have that now. It's just, it worked. It was great. It served the purpose. Even when I was at work, I would just plug it into my Bluetooth speakers. Boom. And away it would go, because where my office was, I didn't have a lot of signal.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, again, what Hertz is saying, that sounds pretty bad. I'm not that sophisticated. My 2015 BMW doesn't have that technology.
Yeah, it's
like,
old.
I can't play I could play my radio. I guess I could play music from I can play podcasts and stuff. Wait a minute, now that I think about it, I mean, if my it'll mute my stuff, and I don't have anything called Android Auto. I just play the song, and then but I don't use Google navigation. I use the navigation in the car, and the car will automatically mute my phone stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yep. When I get into my truck, it switches over automatically.
Well, no, what I'm saying is so I've got the Google, I've got the navigation system running, and then I can play a podcast off my phone, and it'll mute my phone when the navigation system talks.
Yep.
And so
mine does too.
Yeah, it's all seamless. There's no separate tech involved. I'm not using an app or anything, but I think he's saying he's using Google Maps and music simultaneously all through his infotainment center, which I can't do.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to upgrade my system on my car if I'm going to keep it much longer. My audio sucks.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes it's just not worth it. It's too old. I got an update for my truck. I got to give him $150, but it's to update the navigation system and a few other things. And so, you're kind of between a rock and a hard place. You want the latest and greatest as far as your navigation, so you can get from point A to point B. But you sit there and go, how much do you want for that? $200? Really?
I'm confused how 60 Hertz car thinks he's in Tokyo. Shouldn't it use the GPS in there and just know where your location is? That seems weird.
It does. But
yeah. I don't know. I've only had, this is the first car I've ever connected with Bluetooth before. I think my last car had some Bluetooth functionality, but I never used it.
This one's my second, and the other ones, it didn't have anything like that. We just sat the phone on the console with a holder and then hit the button and used the speaker on the phone, and it was perfect.
Yeah. I think my last one I could do phone calls through it, but I couldn't do anything else. So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I never bothered to figure out how to do it. It just didn't seem worthwhile to me.
As long as it works when I get in my truck, I don't putz with it anymore. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the car technology stuff, it's nice if you've got it, but it's not something I. The only thing I do want is the backup camera. That's super, super nice.
That is really nice to have.
Because I actually knocked a taillight out on my prior car. I drove back and I'm like, I've got to be right there. And I'm looking at my windows. I'm doing everything I can. And it looks to me like I'm clear. And there was something really low that was just barely above bumper, just enough to take it out. And I was like almost touching it, so I couldn't see it. And I mean, I was like, I think it's there, but I'm looking. I can't see anything. Tap the gas. And I'm like,
yeah.
That's $3,000.
Yeah.
And instead I bought a new car.
Well, 5, 6, 7 years. Like, yeah, no.
I'll say this though, man. That Corolla was the cheapest thing I've ever owned. It was just zero cost to own.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was good.
Do oil changes? I barely ever. I mean, I went so far. I went forever without changing brakes. The tires. I mean, I had to replace those once. I mean, everything about that car, it just held up. It lasted. Nothing broke. I miss Toyota.
Japanese import.
Why would any car come with snow tires? Like, that's an odd thing to sell a car with.
Yeah, that is. That doesn't make sense. I thought they use all the M&S rating, for mud and snow, and away you go.
Yeah, I mean, usually you get all seasons, or you get summer tires, or you get like the touring tires, they call it on some cars.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, the touring. Yep.
Yeah. I desperately have to buy a new set of tires for my car, and I'm trying to figure out what I want. Because right now I've got summer tires on it, and I mean, that's just stupid.
Well, yeah, if you want to go anywhere here coming up, you probably should.
Oh, I've driven it in the snow with the summer tires on. Don't get me wrong. I've survived, but.
Well, if they're newer tires, then yeah, you'll do fine. You'll do fine. And you're like me when I lived there. If it's snowing that bad, I don't really need to go anywhere. I've got enough toilet paper and I've got enough food.
Yeah. But, in cold, rainy days and stuff, it's best to have a little bit more traction. So,
yeah.
I'm looking at
I agree with you.
The problem is for me, it's going to be $1,200 for almost any set of tires I put on the car. And it's just, that sucks.
Yeah.
And they don't last either. It's not like my car, I'm going to get 80,000 miles for that. I'm getting 40.
Yeah. The best I'm doing on my truck is 17. And I'm happy. It's a diesel, so all good. All good.
Yeah. Sure. Tires have been the one thing. Like, my car's been relatively inexpensive to own. For all the talk that BMWs are these pricey things to own, it hasn't really been that bad, except the tires. They've just been brutal.
Oh,
it's like I can't afford the tires on this car, though. And I say that, and people are like, "How can you afford the rest?" I'm like, "The rest is cheap, man. With those tires,
yeah,
I can't. You get a nail in a run flat tire, you're buying a new tire."
Oh yes, you are, and you're not buying one; you're buying two.
Well, I usually would get away with one because they usually were new enough where it wasn't that big a deal. But
that's good.
But it only worked out that way because I kept replacing every freaking tire.
Once I just replaced some on her BMW. So
once I replace these 4 tires that I'm about to do, It will be 9 tires I've gone through in 3 years of ownership.
Yeah. Yeah, you got good luck. Let me tell you.
I mean, it's just
Good luck.
ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's 9. I'll have bought 9 tires. It started with 4, so that's 13 actually.
I know. It adds up. It adds up. You
Like,
know.
geez. My first
Yep,
car,
them
I
run
think I
flats
changed
are
the tires
just
on
not
it
cheap.
10 times in
Yeah,
10 years of
they're
owning
just
them.
not cheap. But anyway.
Yeah. Oh, well. I mean, what are you going to do?
Nothing. Exactly. Nothing.
I mean, you're basically given a choice. Do you want an economy car? Do you want
Yeah.
a fun car? Do you want a comfortable car? Or do you want,
Yep.
like, size and functionality for, other stuff? I mean, the economy car is your only choice that's cheap. The rest of them cost money, and it's just a matter of how much.
Hey, I drive a Ram 2500 diesel, so I know.
Yeah.
I know. But, it rides nice. It pulls what we need to pull. And I'm in speaking for the size truck it is, getting 16 miles to the gallon in the city, I'm fine with it.
60 hertz. 500 gigabyte hard drive on my spare wheel that has Japanese songs on it. Very strange for both me and my passenger when I found it.
Huh. I just saw that too.
Hilarious, buddy. That is hilarious.
I'm sure it is.
In your spare tire, you had 500 gigs of interesting. Well, you should join the BMW world. You'll never have that problem again because they don't have spare tires.
Yeah, that's true. My aunt found that out here not too long ago on hers.
I mean, mind you, I have driven on a blown tire and got to the tire shop. No issues.
Yep. Because it's blown. There's nothing you can do. It's down the road. So let me just run that block or 3 blocks or whatever, because I always replace the tires. So it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. And I gotta say those run flats, I mean, even on the blown piece, I mean, I was listening very closely. I had my windows down while I drove, and no issues, man. Those run flats do their job.
They absolutely do.
Now, I would probably not have been willing to drive. I think they're rated up to like 40 or 50 for like up to like 10 miles. But again, I had a hole in the side of mine, and not a little hole.
No, you're like me. It's never anything little. When I'm doing it, I'm doing it.
Well, so I got like a bubble on from where I hit a pothole and and so it was sitting outside for a few weeks. It was sitting outside for a few weeks, and I came back out, and I look at my car, and all of a sudden that bubble had popped.
Oh yeah,
great. I've had bubbles before. I've never had a bubble pop, so I was like, all right, guess I have to get a tire today. So I drove down to the car place, and I'm like, hey guys, there's literally a hole in that thing. And they're like, all right, cool. We'll do our best. And they did.
They did.
I'm like, here are the keys, but really, you probably should just go out there and like jack it and take the wheel off. And because I debated just carrying the wheel to them. But it was far enough where I didn't want to carry that.
I get to the point where I'm lazy. I'm like, I am not putting that thing back on.
I don't have the problem. I don't have the tools to put the wheel on and off.
And that's the thing too. Because
again, I don't have a spare tire, so I don't have a kit.
They don't put the 4-way or whatever in there. Yeah, the tire iron. Yep, I don't have
any kind of lift or jack or anything. I mean, I got nothing.
That's when you need AAA or somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do have AAA, but oh my god, I don't want them touching my car again. Last time I
but AAA, it's an hour or two before they get there. Also.
They're pretty quick to getting to me. They were pretty good.
Where you are, they're not bad here either. Come to think of it, but yeah,
they were pretty good as far as that went. But I mean, it was just they're not equipped to deal with BMWs.
No,
although BMW isn't equipped to deal with BMWs always. So
it is.
They have made their
tires just you were talking about tires. They're very particular with everything. So, yeah.
Well,
and you can't replace one. You got to at least do two, blah, 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 blah. Yep.
Well, I called them about getting a new battery in my car, the place locally. And the guy's, oh, of course we can. She's like, yeah, of course we can. I'm like, now keep in mind, you can't disconnect the battery at any time from the car. And he goes, what do you mean? And you have the tools to, the computer.
Yeah, keep a charge
to edit.
on everything. Yep.
And he goes, he asked somebody, and the guy goes, no, we don't do BMW batteries. He goes, oh,
Yep.
apparently we don't. And then the guy's like, just like dumbfounded, like, wait, we can't do a battery? And I was like, trust me, when I found out I couldn't just
change the battery yourself and then take the old battery back to Walmart and get your $20 credit. Yep.
I was shocked.
Yep. Only reason why I know this is I've had the cars, so I know, but I don't know what the name of the thing is, but before they take it off, they basically hook it on. It's like another battery. It keeps power to your computer and other things.
Yep.
Then they go ahead and change the battery and just reconnect the cables and boom. But I hate to say it's a ripoff, but oh my gosh. Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, BMW doesn't even really gouge you on the battery. I think it's like $450 to get a new battery on the car. And I went and priced out the battery that comes on the car.
I paid $350 a piece for the ones in my truck. And I said a piece because there's two.
Yeah, I think these batteries are about $350 just to buy them. And I'm like, hell, $100 for them to install it with the complicated bullshit they do, and then to reset it with the computer. Hell, it's not even that terrible a price. And you throw in the fact that, like, if I have to take it to the dealership, they'll give me a damn rental car if I want it.
Yeah.
For the day. I'm like, well, at that point, hell, they're basically giving me $100 value there.
Mm-hmm.
How many places hand you a BMW, to go cruising in for the day?
Exactly.
Because I haven't missed many.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt.
And so it's like, I've said that to like one of the car guys. I'm like, yeah, but they do give you a rental car. And he goes, once you do that, he goes, if you're getting a rental car every time you take it into the dealership, he goes, kind of hard for us to really say we're a better value. He goes, we don't cost more, but he goes, when you go add a rental car in and all that, and then the convenience, it's like, for like normal stuff like that, he goes, we're not better priced until it's like a lot of labor. And then, are you going to come to us? And I'm like, probably not. I'm probably going to the dealer for a lot of labor.
Yeah.
That's like a stupid thing, like where it just takes forever to do something, but it's not super technical. So, and that's why I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, the 400Z comes out at a really good price, and that could be my next car. Japanese. The history on Nissan Zs has been they're very reliable cars.
They are.
They're building on top of all platforms they've already done before. So I'm hoping that thing is exactly what I want.
There you go.
The problem with that one is I almost have to buy a manual if I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want that real responsiveness, yes. In a 300Z.
Well, it'll be the 400 when they come out. But the problem is Nissan doesn't have a good automatic. They just don't have a good automatic. Whereas BMW has a great automatic.
Are they 6-speed or 10 speeds?
Word is it's going to be a 6-speed automatic.
Okay.
You want 9 or 10 these days. Anything less.
Even in the new Ford trucks now, they're 10 speeds.
As they should be.
They've gotten on the bandwagon and went up to 10 speed.
Yeah, but from what I'm hearing, the Nissan's really not going to do anything. It might be an 8-speed. I don't know. We'll see. But wait for the reviews. It's not out yet, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We will see. It could be that it actually turns out to be an awesome freaking, automatic. If it is, I'll just get the automatic because I don't need the. I don't need the manual. I'm not that intense a sports car guy.
Yeah. No, I got you, Justin. That's just. I had manuals for years. Living out here now in Vegas, where pretty much it's flat, so it's actually great to drive. But
Cincinnati is
back in
very hilly.
Back in 11, I think it was my last manual And I was out in California tooling around in them hills. Whew. So,
This
but
Buffalo
hey,
Trace pick is a
what's that?
failure. Buffalo Trace pick.
Oh,
This is not a good one.
well, it's like anything. Some of them are great. Some,
Yeah, this
Yep.
store, every time I bought a Buffalo Trace pick from, has been just
Mm.
absolutely amazing. This
Except
one,
that one.
yeah, and every Eagle Rare I've gotten there has been mediocre, except their last Eagle Rare, which was great. So, and again, it's Buffalo Trace. They only give you 3 barrels.
Yeah.
You
But
don't
like
get
I
a lot
said,
of choices.
it's any store pick is hit or miss. The place I go to, they had was it an Old Forester? Oh no, Knob
Old
Creek.
Foresters have all been misses for me lately.
Well, they have an Old Forester store pick, but I missed it. But it was a Knob Creek that they did a store pick on a rye. I thought it was terrible, but that's just me. Other people liked it. I tried it a week ago, and I was like, now I like it. I go,
Yeah. So I've been holding up. I've had this open for about a week or so. So I just kind of came back today, and there's a character that these Buffalo Trace products take on that I don't like, and it's sort of when they get kind of earthy. They get kind of earthy at some of them, where some get really nice sweet notes. This has gotten earthy. I will say it's got
so
a little bit of apple cinnamon going on, which I kind of like.
yeah, it's something in the barrel, and that's what's honestly that's the problem. There's something in the barrel, and then as it opens up, you catch that. I call that the Buffalo Trace funk.
And that's
It's not terrible, but you it's not an enjoyable thing for you. But yet, could you sit? Yeah, you can sit there and you can drink it. Yeah, it's not disgusting.
Well,
Absolutely
the
not.
funk actually here might be good at cast strength, but at 45%, it comes off unpleasant because it's a little bit watery.
Yeah, I like viscous. Yeah.
Yeah. And Buffalo, again, sweet does well when it's thinner, whereas certain other flavors don't work when they're thin. Oak is bad in thin whiskey. Oak becomes very, very overpowering when the whiskey's thin, whereas it can be really delicious when the whiskey's got some depth.
If it's thin and it's very, very oaky, it's just bleh.
Unless it's perfect oak. Like I know you may disagree, and that's fine, but the rhetorics, maybe not the 25 and 24, but the younger rhetorics, the 20, 21, 22s, I love the oak on those, and I think they are beautiful at 45%. Lost profits just absolutely to die for. Meanwhile, forged oak, not so much. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've had a lot of those orphan barrels, but and I'll tell you what, if you never get a hold of that 20-year Barter House, that's a good bourbon. I might just break down and buy one of those. It's 1,000 points, but I might do it.
Hey,
my store is pissing me off, man. They are pissing me off. They have not released the B-Tax yet. Maybe they haven't gotten them. That's okay. They haven't released the Parkers yet. It's possible they haven't gotten it, but I highly doubt it. That came out in September. Can't tell me it's taken over 5 weeks to get there. They haven't released,
especially Ohio.
Well, this is Kentucky.
Well, I know you go to Kentucky, but you're right there.
Yeah. No, if I'm talking about bourbon, I don't buy bourbon in Ohio. Period.
Yeah. Well, you can be there shortly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's just I can't get anything in Ohio because of the system. Like you have to be
exactly, and I remember that.
Yeah. They haven't released the Four Roses limited edition. I know for a fact they have it. I saw one there.
Because you can go online though and look if they're going to have it and when they're going to release it.
In Ohio, no.
I thought you could.
No. They for allocated bourbons, they are very hush hush about the whole thing.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, no, they're very hush hush. fact, I actually got to enter into the Ohio lottery for a couple of things here. But anyway, so then they released one bottle of King of Kentucky. They got more than one bottle of King of Kentucky. But they claim they only had one bottle of King of Kentucky. And I know for a fact that they have at least 3, if not 4 bottles sitting in their basement. And I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? Just sitting on all this stuff. And here I have, I've played their game. I've got 3,000 points. I've even been buying like stuff like this. This was 200 points just so I can make sure my points don't expire and I can get something for them.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll grab a 200-point Buffalo Trace. Whatever. So I've spent 600 points recently, and I still have 2,900 points. Just to put in like the ridiculousness of this.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of these points if I can't get any bourbon?
I don't know why you just froze up for a second there.
Okay.
Well,
what's the point of these points if I can't get anything for them? You know.
Well, exactly. Especially if anything you like.
Yeah, I mean, like I can get a Weller pick if I want that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, I don't. And so I'm about to go put in they got an Ohio lottery right now for the OFC, the Double Eagle Very Rare, the Michter's 25, the King of Kentucky, and the Old Forester Birthday Bourbon.
Yeah, but what are you, 33,452?
Well, I mean, it's all MSRP for these if you win.
But I'm just saying in that lottery.
Oh, there'll be 100,000 people in it.
Yeah, I'm being sarcastic, but yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, and the thing is, if I won an OFC or a Double Eagle Rare, I guess I'd buy it and flip it.
Yeah. Or something different.
Or I'd sell it by the ounce to people who want to try it and get my money back.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if you don't use those points, you're going to lose them. But
this is the Ohio lottery. So
you're still in the lottery. Okay.
Yeah, this is just. I mean, I put it in and I have a chance of winning. But so I mean, I might reach out to the community if I win one of those big boys and be like, "Hey guys, here's the deal.
I'll give you an opportunity." Yeah.
Yeah, like hey, look, guys. Basically, I want this bottle. I want to get to drink this whiskey for free. So I paid $2,000 for this Double Eagle Rare. I will sell you an ounce for $100 shipping.
Hey,
you will never get a better price on Double Eagle Rare. And that means I get like 4 or 5 ounces, depending on how it all works out.
Hey,
mind you, I have to send 20 samples out to 20 people. I have to send 20 boxes. It's not exactly free. That's a lot of work.
God, to hand deliver something there is between $15 and $20 if it's a whole bottle.
Oh, I mean, it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I figure, if I get my money back that way, maybe it's worth doing it, and again, but only if, again, people see that as a value and get happy. But I mean, God. And then the OFC, if I did that one, it'd be like $125 a pour. I mean, geez. Even the Michter's 20, I'd probably want to sell some of it because that's a $1,000 bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But those are going for like $6,000, $12,000, whatever the hell the crazy price is these days.
Oh, it's ridiculous for the Michter's. It's just to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm not even going to talk about that.
Now, have you had a Michter's 20?
No. I have seen the bottle.
Tears will come down your. Will come down. No, I haven't had the 25, which I hear is not as good as the 20, but the 20 is literally
delicious.
Were you into bourbon back when Pappy was Pappy?
Not like I am now. I remember seeing it on the shelf like you would find Miller Lite.
Yeah. Did you ever try one back in those days?
No. And I laughed because I said, Pappy Van Winkle? Really?
Well,
yeah, I remember seeing it. I remember
the Michter's 20 tastes to me like a cast strength version of the old 20-year Pappy Van Winkle from like 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, those old Pappies, there's a reason they are piped up and popular. There's a reason Pappy became a big deal. It used to be an amazing bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a genuinely like jaw-dropping amazing bourbon.
Oh yeah.
Well, And the
it's just
mixer
like with
training is
anything. And
faster
now
than
it's just
virtual.
it's overpriced and overrated. That
I tell you what, those old ones, if they were $1,000 a bottle, might not be overpriced. They're that good. The new ones aren't. That's the problem. Did JD? Yeah. I think you froze, JD. No, you're moving again. Nope, you're back.
can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It was popping in, popping out, and I'm like, the heck is going on here?
I heard what sounded like a USB. Oh, now I can hear myself talking.
Well, I'm looking. I'm on the USB-C. That's how I plug in because this laptop does not have a connection. But I'm noticing, and I'm direct into the system. I'm not using Wi-Fi. For some reason, my signal strength is dropping like a rock, and I don't know why. So unless it's my provider out here,
It just
not
happens
sure.
sometimes too,
It
man.
does. Well, like I said, I'm just using my Verizon. I had 5 bars. Now I'm down to 1. So I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, and I hear that, but I don't know why it's cutting in and out because I'm not touching it. It
Hey, what's
says,
up,
yeah,
JD?
connection.
Saw you pop back in. I think you popped actually in like 10, 20 minutes ago, but I just caught it.
Well, right now it's saying there's a problem with the stream as far as the connection goes. So anyway, all right.
Your
Well,
voice is clear. That's all that really matters.
yeah, that's true. The voice is clear, but I don't know what.
Honestly, I think that's something that our community needs to kind of look into and embrace a bit is kind of turning some of these lives more into podcasts and trying to put out more like podcast stuff. I don't know how that works and what the market is, but I know
Yeah.
podcasts are huge. And I feel like, this format really does lend itself to podcasts. And I think if you focus a little more on the concept of a podcast, and
Oh,
so, we do a few less,
exactly.
of me holding up a bottle to the screen and being like, look at this stuff. Wait for it to
Yeah.
focus. We
Yeah.
do more like, kind of descriptive, if you look at this label, it says XYZ.
No, you're right. I think you're right.
I think we can
And
really turn the live stream into the podcast format and kind of double dip. I think there's some real growth opportunities there, in terms of growing sponsorships, marketing. I mean, trying to grow like not just the community, but channels can have a better opportunity to grow that way.
mm-hmm.
There's more opportunity to make this. Again, I don't know that anybody's trying to make a living off of this other than like 3
No.
channels, but there's an opportunity to make this a legitimate like side business. And I mean, people who are really putting time and effort into this thing, like the Mash and Drum,
Oh
who's
yeah.
making
No,
good
you're
money,
right.
but he deserves more money for what he's doing.
Oh, you
Bourbon
don't
Journey.
make much. You really don't.
Oh,
I mean,
he does.
some do. It depends on your sponsorships and it depends on your viewers and so on and so forth, and then your clicks. And I was looking into some of that, and I don't know
Well, but
all
also
the
it's
ins
just
and outs.
Patreon, man. The Patreon is really where the money comes in. The super
Oh
chats,
yeah.
Patreon. I mean, that's really where the money is getting made. But like, if I look at so I mean, Jason does well from what we've talked a little bit. I mean, he's bringing in a pretty decent amount of cash. As everybody knows, because I mean, just get on his live stream so you can see how many people pay him, and then you see those Mash and Journey picks. I mean, people are lining up for that. He's doing well.
Yeah.
But whereas like say Scotty, I don't know. Again, I don't know the numbers on him.
Yeah.
But he's probably not generating nearly as much revenue, but he's doing high production quality. His editing is good.
Oh, he's doing great.
He does a lot of work. He's putting in the time. So if he could then, expand by, adding like podcasts to it, I don't know if it's going to add much money, but if it could just add a little bit. Well, so Hertz, you're asking about the picks. So they don't make any money really off the picks per se. They might get a few bucks or something per bottle, but nothing meaningful. Where they get their money is that in order to get the pick, you have to be a member of their Patreon, and you get access to the picks based on the level of Patreon member you are. So if you wanted an Elijah Craig barrel proof pick, you probably weren't going to get one if you were a $5 a month Patreon. You probably needed to be a little bit more generous. So as a result, they're making fairly good